And here we are back after a short break with EG versus OG. This proves to be, well, it hasn't proven to be, looks to be one of the better series for today.
Yes, and it's not just about the quality teams; it's also about the fan bases. I think this is going to be one of the more contentious. You got the the NA versus the EU. You've got like the OG brand that's kind of coming back, doing really well, versus the EG brand that's also in the same position. You got the drama of Fly and S4 leaving OG. This match has everything. This is like the meme match of the day for sure. And it also means big stuff in terms of TI. You got to get your wins, and you got to win your groups, and you got to place well.
So top storylines, top meme value. In terms of Dota, though, like you say, it also feels like it could really deliver. These two teams have both been on the rise. EG, who looked like, you know, the third best NA team for a while, now no longer looking like the third best NA team. It looks like they're back where they used to be. VGJ Storm have also elevated their play. I think are looking similar to EG, but it's no longer that EG's playing bad. They're looking really good. OG, same thing. Dominating Europe. Easy qualifier for them, and have looked pretty good even on the tournaments they've played outside of those European qualifiers.
Yeah, we did catch one of the OG series yesterday, and I would say their first game they looked really solid and competitive against Liquid, just outplayed late game by a better team basically. In game 2 they got kind of stomped all of a sudden. It was like the game ended pretty rapidly, so slightly disappointing performance I think for OG fans yesterday. But still look like a around 8th place team maybe on OG side is probably what I'd say. Maybe could go higher or lower depending on how they stay as a pattern team so far.
They finished day 1 with 1 win and 3 losses, which sounds bad, but 2 of those losses were to Liquid, and the draw was against someone else good, LGD I want to say.
Yeah, which is super respectable, actually. Yes. Especially if you don't watch those 2 Liquid games, I think it'd be very easy to be like, oh, one of them they got stomped and the other they lost. Like, totally, they did bad. But, yeah, I would absolutely agree. OG is not bad. It'll be interesting to see if they can do well against EG. But I think this is our first EG game, right?
Yes. In terms of OG's group, they're playing probably the 3 strongest teams first. Like,
yeah. That must
LGD, Liquid, EG.
Would you think that would be good confidence-wise? Be like, get the hard stuff out of the way, and then, but at the same time, like you would almost maybe want to wait until you can see their meta really well, and then take some crucial wins, perhaps later in the groups.
I think that never feels good to like if they go into day 2 and they're like, shit, we're 1 and 3, like this is we have a losing record. That doesn't feel good. Even though you can tell each other, look, we played the two scariest teams out group. Because then you also look at LGD. I think LGD's record is like 3 and 3. It's actually not that amazing. So there's some teams in this group who are actually, you know, like EG, who like you go into this day and you're like, okay, we're 1 and 3, let's get some wins today. Oh, we're gonna verse EG, who's first place in this group, I want to say.
Yeah, I mean, it could also just be that some of those live teams like LGD are really just like a 5th or 6th best team at TI rather than the expected 2 or 3, maybe 1. So I don't know. OG's gonna open Tiny. This is definitely one of the heroes they favored a lot in the last couple days for multiple reasons. Gives you map pressure with Shadow Blades, Blink Daggers, things like that. The laning stage seems good and against a lot of matchups. And you can also hit buildings, which seem to be useful for them. So they'll play it around. Anna played it sometimes, Topson played it other times. Just feels like a good opening for OG that's fairly safe.
Always a team that's kind of valued those flexible heroes that can go multiple lanes, which is exactly what Tiny's going to bring to the table. EG, they're going to get the Necro. Will they get the Shadow Demon with it? Because I don't know if these Western teams value that as a counter to the Necro as much, but that's exactly what we've seen out of China in a few games where you don't want to give Shadow Demon when you pick Necro.
I would say it's not the most typical hero for OG. I feel like I haven't seen them play it very much. Usually No-Tail sitting to a more self-sufficient support, with the exception of his Enchantress game. That was a little interesting. Played very well. So, I mean, I'm sure they can absolutely handle the hero, but I feel like they'll focus on something a little different, is my initial hunch. But who knows? The meta will always change. A lot of their other comfort heroes are gone, though. Pugna's out. That's a hero that they played across all positions very often. Seb playing that, played very well. Topson in the qualifiers, was a big fan of the Pugna. And EG going something a little bit more expected prior to the tournament, like a CM Necro opening. Feels weird on day 2 to me, but day 1, this looks like the normal opening, at least.
It's Fly as well, after all. One of his most beloved heroes next to the Phoenix, probably.
And the Clinks.
The Clinks, yeah. Can't forget about his Clinks. And should be a pretty good fit. The aura definitely nice for the Necro and will be something that their future heroes can benefit from. Pugna Ban makes a lot of sense when they're going to be going into this Necro pick. And here comes the Necro counter. It's the Oracle. They're opting for this over the Shadow Demon. Very similar idea where you can block the damage from the ultimate. You have a Purge for the Ghost Shroud and just generally seems like a decent enough, strong 5-position laning hero.
Even Fate's Edict against Crystal Maiden can be pretty good. Some of those times where a CM is popping an ulti and you don't have any stuns left, and keeping at least one of your cores alive could be really useful there. But yeah, the Necro counter aspect it was really useful in the last game we just covered, the newbie versus VG Gaming match. Oracle was very good. A little weak in laning stage, kind of weak pre-3. But once you get 3, he starts getting online level 4 and onwards. Oracle's a pretty solid support. I think it's most likely to be No-Tail playing it, but I could definitely see JRX for Oracle as well. Just is going to have some gank issues later. So I imagine it'll be a 5 for OG over here. So bans, we see an Alchemist, hero that EG was using successfully in their mid lane. And EG taking their time. Maybe thinking about kicking a power supply over. Buy themselves a couple more seconds. I don't even know if that was a newbie or Vici. I don't remember which one it was. Who's disconnected?
Vici, who lost their power.
Okay. All right. Allegedly kick their power.
That's the old Dota 1 strat. Yeah.
Yes.
We're losing.
Disconnected.
Yep. Oh, what do you know? We got to remake the game.
Yeah. Good old days. Enigma ban. I'm actually comfortable. I like watching Enigmas, but after that last game, I'm going to need a couple days off, I think. Maybe a couple matches off till I want to see another Enigma game. Which was just too painful. Too painful.
You were hoping for more.
Yes.
What a world we live in where OG are the ones banning Alchemist.
I guess so.
We would get to that point.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely one of their power heroes. I mean, everybody talks about the illusion advantage that they always really liked, and they did pretty much directly with all their major wins. They directly resulted in nerfs to illusions hitting buildings. Yeah. Absolutely, and that was even pre-Shadow Demon days.
Yeah. Well, the Alchemist specifically, because that was a hero that teams were like 4th or 5th picking to win games. They were just OG were like, we're going to first pick it, and it's always good.
Yeah.
But Sumail played Alchemist in day 1, so I think it's something EG have shown that they like to play. It was actually an Alchemist with Clinks and Ursa. A very unique draft in terms of the core heroes they had, but no Alchemist, no Clinks as well.
10 seconds.
It's going to be going EG's way.
It's one of the cool things about a lot of those heroes that are trending right now, like Clinks and Ursa, is that they do have the potential to have really strong matchup wins. Maybe I'm just thinking a lot about lanes and matchup wins right now, so maybe that's why it feels like it's more prevalent, but it does feel like that's so much about heroes right now, so that's why they're trending in the first place. So maybe I'm chicken and egging my explanation here, but I like the Ursa pick. It's good against Tiny in lane. I felt like we did see a lot of Tiny versus Ursa, I believe, yesterday when OG played Liquid, but it felt like it was decent both ways. It's like, obviously, Ursa is very good in lane against Tiny, but it felt like at the right time, Tiny can show up and chain stun an Ursa for like 2 seconds, basically, with ally follow-up and just kill him. So, I don't know. Do you feel like the matchup is...
It doesn't feel... No, yeah, I don't think it's like, Ursa's going to be a great counter. You know Ursa has a game because he's against a melee core, which, it's way better than versing a hero. You know you're not getting kited around, but like you say, Tiny has his moments where if he gets the initiation off and catches Ursa out of the enrage, he's going to just blow him up. So we'll see how it pans out.
So maybe one place that OG is now limited in their lane matchups, knowing they don't want to lane against an Ursa. Matoma Man, I'm sorry, different team, but the blue teams, they all kind of blend together. But Matoma Man did a really good job on the laning stage. I imagine EG can do the same thing.
Yep.
Clink's ban, Weaver was the other ban as well. So probably Weaver ban, expecting the Ursa pick, I would have to guess. Weaver very good against CM2, arguably. Frostbite's a little annoying, obviously, but a lot of the cases he'll just kind of shake that off and finish off the CM kill. So OG's other expected heroes, it feels like most of the typical ones are gone. Go for a Centaur, that'll be Seb's hero.
Yeah, OG really likes Centaur for... Why would you say that is? Because they were getting it banned against them yesterday? Yeah. They ran along the qualifiers, or at least a few times?
I guess that's kind of a good question. The hero has decent win rates. I mean... My weather vane was kind of based around Sunsfan. I always complained that Centaur was bad, but his win rates have been fine. He can lane well. If he gets a lane advantage, the right usage of your ulti can be super amazing for helping you escape fights. I think in the case of being against Undyne, it's pretty nice to have Centaur too. He drops Tomb in the right situation. Maybe if you can disengage, you do take that. But it's maybe another pair stun with stun thing as well. Like another Blink hero, he can get stuff done.
Stampede also against the Ursa. If you're in a bad spot, everyone can get away from that.
Until he gets mastered.
Yeah.
I love Undyne as well as a hero. It's one of my favorites to play in pubs right now. Very good at winning lanes. Should be good against Tiny, lowering his damage, lowering his HP. And melee heroes against Tomb is going to be a bad time. And Tiny just has really bad attack speed anyways. In a lot of ways, maybe that's one of the reasons that Undyne feels so good in this game.
Yep.
So the offset by Oracle's disgustingly low BAT, perhaps? It's like 1.3 or something.
The Oracle does have, yeah, Fate's Edict could be helpful against the Ursa this game, although you can always
That's true.
dispel it off, I guess, with his ultimate. That could force like a very early ultimate.
Yeah, and a lot of times he's going to pop it early anyways.
Oh, that's a OG hero of old and
Big
also
staple.
of new.
So, kind of interesting this game. Where do you see the value? It doesn't necessarily counter anything. It can elongate the game. You can get some like magnetic fields, but you're up against an Ursa who's melee, so most of the time it's not a problem.
They, I think, just feel it's a strong hero. That's, I don't
10 seconds
think it's like any like, oh, it super counters anything. It's pretty good for killing Tomb. You've got obviously the double hero. You get the attack speed. You've got good range, particularly if you go for a Dragonlance build, which I think we're seeing this more like fighting Maelstrom, Dragonlance, no Midas,
Shadowblade, definitely.
Shadowblades. The Blink Daggers become quite popular because you go for this Blink Hex later on.
Really? So they're skipping Midas? I feel like when I saw it in pubs a couple days ago, I was still seeing Midases, but I can see the benefit of skipping it for sure.
Yeah, I've seen a lot more no Midas on Arc Warden. At the summit, a few players were doing it, and also like some of the pros I've seen in pubs as well. There has been some Midas and then some who just go straight Maelstrom.
And I guess some of the weaknesses that he has in these matchups should be a little backed up by Oracle either way, because that's kind of the scary part about Arc Warden is when people get on top of you, it can kind of just be your death. But if Oracle's sitting behind and he has two ways to cover with his ulti and his second skill, maybe that'll be enough for Arc Warden to be valuable here.
Interesting. They last met Invoker. They're actually expecting a support Tiny, something Jerks could play theoretically.
Yes, I think I've seen that before. Thompson's Invoker has apparently been doing very well. I think I heard somebody talking about it yesterday. But it's fantastic. He was like Quaswex.
Often been banned against them like very early on. I'm actually surprised to still see it in the pool, but I guess you just don't want to commit to your mid that early on in the game. Brood would have been a great counterpick to the Arc Warden in a lot of ways, so that's not going to be coming out.
Although I did hear, someone who went mid-tiny against Brood and went 1-1-4, I believe, and would throw the tree to one-shot all the spiders.
Nice.
So maybe there's a solution there, but I didn't get to check the full laning stage. I just heard about the idea.
It's also, you have the Tiny, but have you played that matchup before? And if they're running support Tiny, well, you're picking a core, and you can't just suddenly say, oh, wait, Tiny, you're back to a core and run a Centaur support or something.
Yeah, it's a little flexible there. So we're looking at probably a Thompson hero. Anna feels a little bit more like an Arc Warden player to me than Thompson, perhaps, but I'm sure both can handle it. Arc Warden is like one of those slightly weird heroes. Maybe he's too boring now because his item build has been so static for a long time, but I want to see some Thompson cheese. Speaking of which, he's really let me down with the voice chat lines. I really thought I talked him up a lot with his hero chat lines. I have not seen very many. Maybe his team told him to focus or something so they can win TI. I'm not sure. Maybe he's nervous. Something changed.
Okay, Wind Ranger, and it still leaves that question mark of who's actually the mid and the support. I've seen Thompson play this, but 4-position Wind Ranger, it's been a thing. At least it was for a little while.
It's really good this game. Like you're against an Ursa. He definitely doesn't want to buy a Monkey King bar. Almost always it's going to be like Blink into a Basher or Blink BKB Basher. If he's got to throw MKB in there, that's going to be a bad time. Although it works against Arc Warden too. But either way, if it's a core Wind Ranger, it feels even stronger. If he gets like a hood or something like that, it just feels like he's unkillable this game. Unless he gets like, they don't even have stuns, so they can't even stop him from using Wind Run, for God's sake, Yep. So Wind Ranger feels excellent here, if they can make something like support Tiny. But either way, support Wind Ranger I think is also still good. I like the pick here.
Yep. Leaves a bit of flexibility if they want it. We'll see what EG last pick. I want to say probably Sumail's here with the Necro in the off lane, but Necron dying just sounds like such a pesky, annoying lane that is very hard to go up against, but doesn't have to be. Imagine he'll want something to match up there. It's going to be a Storm. So good against Arc Warden. You can gap close. You can get inside the bubble, take away that evasion.
Yep.
And theoretically has a good enough chase if it is a Wind Ranger core. Can jump the Oracle in the back lines as well, since he's the guy that's going to save people. So you can, anytime you can get straight on top of a save hero is always very nice.
I'd say it's not too vulnerable to Tiny in most cases either. Like, yes, he can do some like combo burst damage stuff, but as a whole, most of the time you'll see it coming. And then against Wind Ranger, kind of the same thing. You should be able to predict Shackles. I think this is certainly something that they needed. Although I don't know if I can enjoy this game anymore. I'm kind of physically looking at our TZ set. That hat is just breaks the game too much. My immersion it's ruined. I just can't enjoy this.
Have you seen modern day cosmetics? Have you seen what else is in the game? It's a thing of beauty. You don't like Cowboy Ursa?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sold on it yet. It's just a little too the scarf and the hat. It looks like a pilgrim.
Little teeth necklace. I love
it. Like a bear pilgrim. It's kind of weird.
He looks like a friendly. He looks like a guy who would enjoy having a drink within a bar. So.
Okay.
Whereas normal Ursa, like, I don't want to go near that guy. He's a bit scary.
Okay.
This is like less scary version of Ursa.
I mean, he's a Radiant hero. You know, he's a nice guy. His base damage is low. I don't know if that matters at all, but maybe it influences you.
So I mean, we'll talk about the Storm being a pretty good pick. It's also a Sumail Storm, so it's got to be it's a great pick anytime you can get Storm in Sumail's hand.
That's true. And the other thing I'm looking at, Anna is playing Centaur Warner, actually. So this is a carry Centaur. Now, we went to this tournament in Toronto. It was a Red Bull thing. It was like a show match against Immortals. One of the games when OG was up 2-1, I believe, they picked Pudge safe lane for Anna. So he's got some experience with some atypical carries. And this is TI. So I had a lot of confidence from seeing him play that weird hero as a carry. I think he did a really good job. I could see him doing something just like that with Centaur, just very different.
That is, something else. And
they lost that game, by the way, but
yeah,
but it was sick.
Okay, we'll see how this safe lane Centaur does. Actually, takes me back to when Ace of Secret fame, he used to play in a all-Danish team. He used to do this safe lane carry Centaur back when, like, I think it was Manta Illusions, the return worked on them. So you'd send Manta Illusions at towers. He would go like Radiance, Blink, Manta. Actually, I don't think he'd even get Blink. And just kill every tower on the map.
So it was that like bullshit Manta abuse days for... Okay, I'm going to ignore that because that was just like broken. I wish it was still there. I just wish that the damage reflected was a percentage based on like the illusion, you know? I feel like that would be better. They are going for a smoke here. A little abnormal, actually, the way they pass it, but Arteezy... Oh, if he was an inch to the left here, this could have been him spotting in time. There's a toss forward, and now the stomp. Oh, this reminds me of the good old days.
Oh, the tiny Centaur. It strikes again. They tip him before the kill. Seb had that quick hands micro going.
That
Jarek's not as good, Jarek.
That hurt me a little inside. It just brought back all those negative emotions, like the Tusk Centaur and the... I don't remember when Tiny Centaur got really popular, but it felt like maybe like right after Centaur got super buffed with Stampede or whatever is when it got popular again. But that felt dirty. What was that? Who got first? But Thompson too, the mid player grabbing that first blood. Going to grab a massive circlet. That's going to change the laning stage in a big way, and free sentry ward for him as well. So a good start for them. Can they grab 2 bounties as well? Kind of looks like it. On the downside, Jarex is going to have toss level 1, which is not always the best thing.
Will be a bit of a fight at the bottom and the top bounty runes here. Another toss. Throws Crit after him. Is Crit going to be okay? He's a Crystal Maiden, but Crystal Maiden a lot scarier than she used to be at level 1 with this Crystal Nova.
So they got to always be careful about the toss back to tower range, something they're going to try to abuse for sure.
Top lane, the bounty runes did go the way of EG, but a bit of harass going both ways as Undying got 3 decays off, but...
Took a lot of damage.
Yes, took a lot of damage in the process.
Even with a Stout Shield, I'm kind of surprised how much damage he took here, but this seems like a really good way to deal with a Centaur War Runner is to put a Necro, because as a melee hero, if he goes for a Last Hit or Deny, you're always going to get the Death Pulse, and Oracle's not going to be able to really sustain trading with the Undying very well here.
I feel like they had to have been expecting it too when they picked Centaur, that it was going to be an offlane Centaur, so something OG likely knew was coming their way, but still feel good about this Centaur safe lane.
I mean, maybe Thompson's going to do some amazing things here mid. You never know. Sumail's already pretty low in HP. Thompson's picked up his level 2 here. He's going to go for a little bit of harass.
Sumail's trying to hug the creep. He doesn't want to take damage from the flux. Luckily, it goes to the range creep.
That was really close. I think it does target whoever's closer. I don't think it's like random or anything, but maybe attack speed slow actually from Overload was huge there. 50% if you get hit by the Overload, so Thompson wasn't able to get that attack off in time. I think worst players, somebody would have died there for sure, but both players realizing kind of the limits of their hero. Another salve coming out for Arc Warden. I feel like I just want to watch this mid lane. I feel like some crazy stuff's going to happen here, but we'll see. Fly still being harassed. On the bot lane, the Wind Ranger Tiny dual lane. Certainly going to feel a little weak with Tiny. This is one of the negatives. I mean, they got first blood, but having toss has got to be so bad. But at least they do have a range core to farm here, so that I guess this is the what they traded off. Having a Centaur, it's better to lane him against the Necro than it is to lane him against the Ursa.
You should hopefully know that this mid lane's going better than otherwise would be going because of that extra stats, last hitting potential with the almost second pseudo Wraith Band from Thompson. As things stand, EG with a good CS farm advantage in all 3 lanes. Across the board, the lane setup looks pretty strong from them, and partly because, Tiny did not have that level 1 tree grab.
I would say the lane seems to be going well for OG, though. I mean, they're harassing Arteezy a decent amount. Having Wind Ranger versus Ursa means very low chance that Ursa gets a kill on the Wind Ranger here. And Tiny's just got so much raw HP that surely he's probably fine too. There's a toss back again. They're just trying to win trades by doing this here. But Jarex knows that he's got to be a little careful. Seb using his win run too. Yep. It's really back and forth here.
Top lane Anna's getting bullied though. He's got 4 CS. He's been constantly decayed. He's getting a lot of harass coming his way. Does have a salve. Needs to make sure he doesn't get it cancelled. And Fly, by the way, suiciding towers.
Oh, is
a little
this
dance.
the new way to do it? I mean, you still give gold to your opponents.
Yeah, but it's, I guess, a small enough amount. It's not 134 each, so that number is definitely not accurate.
Is it spread that 134 across 5, maybe?
Believe
like that?
so. I'm not 100% sure.
It's
though.
like part of a last hit, basically.
Yes. If that's 134 gold for the entire team, it's worth it in my mind. I know Febby from Immortals would always do this when he'd play like Skywrath and stuff, because it used to be you deny yourself to neutrals, but now the long respawn time made it not worth, so he's like, well, let's get creative. Let's suicide to towers.
Well, still doing a nice job here against S4, knowing the perfect limits of Death Pulse. It's very important that he doesn't nuke you while also healing himself when he gets those trades off. And we'll kind of wonder maybe if it would have been worth it having like an Orb of Venom or something, but it's not quite the same on a range here as it was before, so back to regular stuff. Sumail level 4, 20-5. Next to Topson's 18-4 Arc Warden, so looks quite even at this point.
Yes.
Very, very even.
Topson did have the first blood, which means maybe a bit more gold in his pocket, but also he's maybe Sumail's happy because he's going even with that first blood gold.
Taking pretty good damage into Sumail. Sumail's got a bottle though, so actually it's pull really early. This is a weird build. 1-1-3, not normal.
The Arcane Rune is going to do a lot of damage here. Topson being chased really far back. Topson turns and he's going to almost feed away his life. Has the Fairy Fire, but that will not keep him alive as Sumail gets the solo kill. Top lane, by the way.
Definitely wouldn't have gotten that without the Arcane, but
yep.
What an amazing kill.
Those low cooldowns here. They're not done top. They want Anna as well. He's behind the tower, out of regen here. Another hoof stomp here. Hits the Undying as he runs past.
Who popped the self? Oh, okay. Necros. Did it get interrupted?
And it does have a shrine to fall back to, which may just be the play here. Undying, though. Actually, going for a soul rip, but didn't have too many units nearby, unfortunately. Anna misses the stun completely as he used an offensive double edge as well. Runes being fought over.
It looks should be good bottom, but Storm showing up here at the ball lightning. He's got the regen too.
Yeah.
Dude, Sumail is doing Sumail things, and it's a huge advantage for them.
Arcane Rune kill into a regen rune, into some bounty runes. He's having a fantastic start. He's going to get the other bounty rune for his team. And meanwhile, top, it was No Tail getting 1 out of the 4 bounty runes.
So 3 for 1 there. So more problems for OG, and as zoned as Centaur is, this feels like a rough time for OG with the mid lane ending up bad like this. Still only about a level advantage for Sumail, but I mean net worth wise, it's starting to creep pretty damn high up.
Yeah, Sumail's just having a fantastic time. He is loving life here. Not that the Arc Warden is not going to have a game at all. He's the most farmed hero on the OG side and has at least gotten a decent amount out of this mid lane, but it's just how well Sumail is doing and going to keep on doing.
Jack's gone for a stack actually with the large camp. I'm a little curious about this. Power Shot's not the best at clearing, so it's a little interesting to me, but Ranger using Wind Run to get out of here. A little scary actually, especially with Earthshock, because they just offset some of the Wind Run slow with Earthshock. They can actually chase him for quite a long time.
Some big pressure coming in top though with the Siege Creep spawning. EG pressured the lane. Dire side actually went for a pull, which means even more damage is being dealt to this tower, and EG looking to capitalize with both Necro and Undying playing behind the tier 1 tower.
Does get the stun on Fly though. This is going to be a lot of damage trade. He should be fine unless No Tail shows up at the right time. He's got a nuke in 2. It's going to be close, perhaps. Anna's getting really low though.
This magic stick is mega value, but at the same time, he's also constantly getting harassed low and low.
It's like Jarek's dying to a neutral.
Yeah, he actually did. That was maybe not intentional. Well, intentional in the sense he just didn't want to die to heroes. Tower going to go down. Is there going to be a denied side? Does not look like OG can get in close, and S4 gets the last hit for it. Good chunk of gold his way. Mid lane, Topson's been gone on here. Sumail wants the solo kill. It's going to be close here. The illusion may kill off Sumail. Can he get the kill?
Gets him.
He gets the kill on Topson. Takes down Sumail. They're tipping Sumail. I don't know if that's a player you want to piss off, because he's a guy who's gone 0-3 or 0-5 or something on Storm and in 5 minutes and then turned the game around. So,
I mean, that was a huge kill. 500 gold for Topson. Sumail loses 130 there, and he gets about a level out of that. So, really nice grab for him. Really needed that considering how the rest of the lanes are going.
Sumail went all in for it, but luckily Topson had the Tempest double and has also got points in his first and third skill, not getting any magnetic field, it would not have really helped him when there's a storm on top of him. And on top of that, Sumail perhaps overextending, thinking he had these raindrops to block a lot of that magic damage.
Yeah, but all the spark wraiths, I'm sure, it's a lot of magic damage sources. Pretty high HP on this hero. So
bottom lane, there was a Shackle on TZ, the avalanche, the neutral creeps. Jarek's tossed Crit into the neutrals, but luckily Crit, he dodges the power shot. Back at mid though, it's going to be Storm going in, getting some revenge on Thompson. Sumail saying, you tip me, well I'm going to get the kill back on you.
He even gets a kill on his Tempest, so that was a big loss, actually. 180 gold, 180 experience.
Bottom lane, Ortiz got the double, though. It wasn't just the first initial kill. He gets both. And
yeah, this new skill build on Ursa has been really effective. I mean, Urshock's always been a really low cooldown. We saw that, I think, TI6. I remember Weehaw beating Sumail mid once with an Ursa versus melee hero of some kind, but the duration is 4 out of 5 seconds. So even if they have wind run and you can stop them from hitting you, it's not necessarily enough time to run away, because as long as he just keeps walking and doesn't attack while he chases you with phase, he's just going to keep hitting Earthshock, and eventually you're just going to be too slow. So it's a hard solution. Seb also might need like a phase himself to be able to get out of there in time.
Oh, nicely played. There's a ward there, and he knows it. He immediately pings Arteezy, gets shackled. Not level 6 yet. He's so close. He gets it from the creep. He pops it before the Centaur stun. Arteezy, nicely done by him. He still could be in some trouble here. The Fate's Edict actually blocking a bit of the magic damage. Arteezy turns, gets a kill. Necro shows up as well to get a second kill. Anna's gone down. Jerix is being chased down as well. S4 can't keep up to him, but they can go for Seb instead. He's being chased down by Sumail, who has a haste rune that wears off, but that's not going to matter as he's still got one overload charge.
These Sumail runes have been so big. Necro's in a lot of trouble this time, though.
Separated. He's got a Ghost Shroud and Fairy Fire here with the 1 charges. He's getting close to the creeps. That means the Flux is not going to do quite as much damage, but he still will go down to that last Spark Wraith. Crit going for the Freezing Field on 4, but he's not the hero CM that he hoped to be. He will not get any kills and will feed away his life, but it's still EG with a fairly sizable lead early on, despite giving away a few kills there when chasing.
This is the Thompson urn. Okay, I think I've... yeah, this is a guy that likes buying this item, especially the Spirit Vessel on a lot of heroes, but it can work really well on Arc Warden, because it's another nuke that your Tempest Double can use. If you pick up the charges and you make a Tempest Double, I'm pretty sure that you have those extra charges, so it's an extra 200 damage in these little fights. And if you can keep your opponents separated, taking Flux damage and Spark Wraith damage, you're doing a bunch of nukes.
You can't stack the Urn charges though, right? Like, you can't use 2 at once. You can stack Urn with Spirit Vessel, I believe, but not
probably.
With itself.
But point being, there's more than one hero in a fight usually.
For sure. You can earn 1 and earn another.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
And it's not a ton of damage, but it does add up.
Yep.
So kind of interesting.
All in mid. Sumail looking for the kill on Centaur. He goes for the Stampede, but he's already been caught by the Vortex. He's trying to hit a stun. He actually does get it just after he dies. Unfortunately for EG, he won't be able to get Seb as the second kill, but they are quite happy with just the Centaur. Elsewhere, Crystal Maiden goes down bottom. Thompson has gone in behind the towers. You mentioned these Urn charges. He's looking to use them.
Needs to get Fluxes off. He does.
Yeah. There's the offensive Urn onto Arteezy. Does not have the Enrage any longer, and he'll go down. Nicely played by OG with that aggression down in the bottom lane, even though they do lose Centaur at mid.
Yeah, OG hasn't had any control over the top lane, but they're definitely doing a good job in stabilizing mid and bot. Now Thompson's sitting at 5 and 2, whereas before it felt like he was just really significantly far behind. Still big net worth loss. There's 2 strong cores on EG's side, and only one that's sitting really good net worth on OG.
Both Centaur and Wind Ranger having slow games and rough starts. S4 at top is taking a tier 2 tower.
This is gone
on his own. It's not something you would expect to see at 11 minutes in, but OG have been too busy in both mid and bottom lane, like you said, stabilizing these lanes that they just can't address top, and S4 is punishing that fact.
So rotating around, the one hero that's really lacking is probably Wind Ranger right now. I mean, he's not that far away from the Ursa, but I'm sure I'd love to see like a fast Maelstrom here. He's queuing up phase afterwards. I think this is the right move. Phase is sometimes really needed, but he definitely needs damage. Otherwise, Focus Fire just is a pretty dead ultimate.
He's going to try and do what he can in the mid lane. Thompson shows up as well with the Fluxes onto Sumail, who's trying to hug his Crystal Main to take less damage.
Oh, great toss back here. Jerix wraps around and...
Can they get S4? There's the old chat, the busted. He knows he's got S4 maybe. Can they bring him down? Have they got the damage? S4 will give away his life here, but Jerix has gone in a little bit too deep and will pay the price.
Yeah, way too deep. His team got the great kill, but it took a lot to kill that Necro, so... great toss back, though. The fact that he wrapped around there basically gives him a free Blink Dagger as his opponent retreats.
Around the ball lightning.
Wants the free power shot. I thought that was a little Spark Wraith following Crystal Mane. Just a dog. No problem.
So things will settle down as OG fall back. We'll shrine up together and then maybe look to make their next move. 5-man rotation here. They're going to smoke up all together and look to re-engage in mid.
But you know, that was straight up under a ward, so you just gonna be ready for that. See how they react.
They're baiting fly.
Maybe more of a Sumail really wanted to get that creep wave, therefore they'll take care of it. That's a really weird place to have a ward. There has been some fights in that area of the map, but nothing like really aggressive. I mean, they still have the tier 1 tower after all, so they were a little unexpected to have a ward there. Not too surprising. OG ended up smoking right under that one.
A ward you'd expect to see like at 20 to 30 minutes, just not 13 minutes into the game. Derek's behind the tier 1, runs into the Undying, but gets scouted out himself and won't get the initiation. TP coming in. Do they see this one? S4 is going to get tossed back once again right into Anna's Sun. Jarek's in some trouble here. They're going to blow up the Necro absolutely immediately. Jarek's getting false promise to keep himself alive a little bit longer here. Thompson's already got himself a double kill, though, with crits Crystal Maiden going down. The Stampede used just to disengage. Jarek's will not be kept alive, as it just wasn't quite enough heal for him during the Oracle ultimate, but even so, it's still a good fight for OG, who once again kill off this pesky Necro.
Yeah, the way that they're starting these fights is pretty interesting. Like, Tiny's always in a wraparound position, ready to toss somebody back. I'm just kind of surprised that the Necro went for that teleport there. I think EG thought they could defend him better, but they saw the Tiny behind the tier 1 tower. They put the sentry there, they spotted him. No Tail gonna be able to heal himself. Gonna take physical damage here, but lose the clarity, successful.
He's a bit low on mana here. Had some 1 charges, but he's going to get hit by the power shot. Shrine is available, luckily. Thompson still wants to chase this one. The Spark Wraith's being dropped. That wasn't going to catch Sumail. Luckily, can utilize this Shrine, and that will deter OG from chasing any further, particularly with those extra TPs coming in.
Yes, and ultimately delaying this until Centaur gets a Blink Dagger is the goal for OG right now. They're definitely creating a lot of action. Thompson's the big net worth leader now, making things better for his team. I mean, even having Tiny as a support, 30% status resistance feels really good, actually, with as much HP as he has. Yes, he's got a small amount of armor, but it feels good.
Top bounty runes being fought over. Fly wants it, but he may pay for it with his life. No, they're not going to force the fight here. Anna actually could be in some trouble. He does not have Stampede, does have the hood to block a bit of damage, and Sumail's actually used up all his mana to go for this one. Coming in from behind is Arteezy, though, and that's going to chew apart No Tail. The Stampede comes up, but it's too late. Anna's dead to the Reaper. And that's 46 seconds on the sidelines. Thompson now. Tempest double available. May want to turn and fight this one. Has a Force Staff to do some chasing with his illusion. I don't imagine he wants to go charging in with his actual hero. And he's just going to watch EG gather in this mid lane and try and do some extra harass.
We'll slow things down a little bit.
Yep. Slowing down the push with those fields. Now we're getting down to deny range. I think at this point you're just hoping to deny it if you're OG, and they should be able to do so. They glyph it. I think they were worried about that siege creep sneaking a last hit in, and
I mean, it's a lot of gold if you don't get that denied. It's like 120 to each enemy hero. This can really add up.
Oh yeah. Right. Fortified now going to refresh anyways because it's tier 1. So
good point. So Sumail prepping for his Orchid, nothing surprising there. Looking like they want to dive. They do get the first Shackle down.
He's going to get the Tempest double out as well. Can S4 keep himself alive? He's got the hood now here as well. The Dark Warden, he double Force Staffs himself away. Really nicely played. Unfortunately, it's going to be Oracle instead in a lot of trouble here. Yeah, I don't see him surviving this one. He's going to pop. Whoa, Sumail flying in from afar was looking for Thompson. Changed target, went for 7 set because he can get Thompson as well. And Sumail shows up from nowhere. He was like halfway across the map and he comes in, cleans up with a double kill. Tiny's like, what can I do here? He's got the angle coming in from behind once more, but doesn't have a Blink Dagger. Neither does the Centaur, and that seems to be a big issue for OG, as they just don't have these Blink initiation.
That was a huge fight. Yeah, the last like 5 minutes, I felt like OG had control, but then a couple of good maneuvers. Arteezy coming from the back when they went for those bounty runes. And now this engagement as well, grabbing the heroes they need. OG's having a little bit of trouble taking a great fight, and it's
very low in this Rochamp hit, but OG going to get there too late. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. They just don't have Blink Daggers. That's the issue here. It's they're able to do these like long range slow initiations, like maybe get a toss back, but that gimmick has worked like 3 or 4 times to great effect. But now they need like a Blink stun of some kind or a Blink toss back. Because now as long as EG has, I mean, there's less things to play around. Most of the big objectives are gone. So now EG is more just kind of on the map, and it seems like it's harder for OG to actually play around it as a result. Maybe they weren't expecting to lose the laning stage this bad, but at least they've got the Blink on Centaur now. they can start landing some initiations and get some follow-ups.
It's very much about a reliable, consistent initiation, because something like a Shackle Shot, if you hit it, it's nice, but that's not always going to happen, and forces Wind Ranger to position herself sometimes awkwardly or too aggressively.
Absolutely, and he's maxing out more Shackle than Wind Run, which I think is the right move, just because there's a Storm Spirit. You got to lock that guy down and get the kill, and longer duration is going to really help out there. So.
Storm about to complete an Orchid. Not going to help him out against these aggression from OG with the blinks and the stuns, but it's going to definitely help him out as far as finding kills on people like Arc 1, like the Wind Ranger,
or the Oracle.
Yep, that's in a team fight almost the ideal target to go for first, because anyone else you go on is going to get saved.
Ursa going straight Blink Basher like expected, so you can end up getting some solo kills here. Haven't seen Arteezy too often. I feel like I haven't caught him in the camera much. Seems like all the action is always somewhere else. Then he shows up with a fight and goes off to farm again. Typical for him. He's able to keep his farm level up, and it's a 3k gold advantage for EG. It's moderate. Some of that's certainly tower-based, but kills, map, everything. So good position for EG right now.
Yep. We'll see whether OG's eyeing off some kind of maneuver here. Yeah, they're going to smoke up. This one not underneath a ward. They've got okay vision, and it's really just one observer ward in the enemy jungle that's giving them some info as far as what's going on, and No-Tail's got 2 wards to carry along for this smoke gang.
It is going to spot them. Okay, yep. Now they're in.
I believe they saw Sumail for a split second there farming that neutral camp.
Right, they see crit now.
Can they get the blink stun? They put the ward on the high ground here. They go on the Crystal Maiden. Storm immediately counter-initiates with Arteezy blinking as well, but it's a perfect Shackle on 2! Ursa as well as Storm. They melt, but Storm does have an Aegis. He's going to come back for a second life here, so EG still looking good here. Sumail on his second life goes balling in, catches out the Oracle as well as Thompson's Arc Warden on the back left here. Thompson, he's just going to try to TP his hero out of there, but he TP'd to the tier 1. What's he thinking? He's being pinged here. Crit going to give him the tip. It's EG's turn to turn it around. They hadn't been tipping all game, but they'll tip that one, that's for sure.
Oh, that's a painful mistake. He must have clicked the ground, maybe uses quick cast or something, but he could have been in the fountain healing. Oh, but ultimately, again, the same thing happens. EG anticipates where the roam is coming from. They smoke it. They get the scan detection, and they just threw the CM up there. And I was like, how's the CM not die? He's got level 10. He has he's a cloak. He's got the health talent, and he just tanks the nukes. And they just go on the back line. Tombstone makes it hard to fight. The Shackle was great and gave him some movement, but with Sumail getting this far ahead now, just so easy for him to dive for the back line.
Yeah, like when Sumail balls in and Arteezy blinks in and they instantly get 2 heroes shackled, you think the fight could go better for OG, but the problem is Sumail goes in first because he knows he's got this Aegis. So if they throw all those spells at him like they did, fight's going to go fine. Meanwhile, Arteezy, he popped in Rage, so he blocks all the damage. So these 2 heroes that got disabled for a huge-ass time actually doesn't win OG a fight on its own. They needed more than that. And
OG's damage is still not very easy to do anyways. Like, them getting a 2-man Shackle, yeah, you can do some, like, Avatos kind of stuff, but past that, it's still a little bit of time until Arc Warden is dealing a lot of damage. He went 4-step first because he's against a Storm. He's going for a Maelstrom now. He still hasn't finished it. So it's like, even if they get these great team fights, you saw the damage issue. They can't easily kill a CM on the high ground. Obviously, there's going to be a problem here. And they might find Thompson here. Smoke breaks.
Instantly blinks in, gets the full stab away, but Arteezy, even without the insta-bash, will easily help his team, and Sumail get the last hit on that kill.
So tough loss there. One of those moments where his team is not really showing much on the map, and as a result, eventually EG is going to go look for a kill somewhere. And looking at the tri-camp was one of the more obvious spots, and they had a little vision here as well from before, so ended up catching the enemy hero farming.
You're just going to split out, farm multiple lanes, and also try to find kills on these multiple lanes. Sumail can kill almost anyone with his Orchid. Bottom lane, Arteezy can kill almost anyone. They're going to get the Orchid initiation. He balls too far, in fact. He didn't quite know where Seb was, but he's got the backup from the CM and will still get the kill. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Anna needs to be careful. Arteezy, okay, he actually blinks away from Arteezy, but Arteezy can follow it up with a blink of his own. Doesn't get the bash once again. RNG just not there for Arteezy, who's now going to get followed up by Thompson. Arteezy does not have the Aegis. No blink available. He's just going to turn and fight, and fight he does pretty damn well. Luckily for Anna, there's an Oracle to back him up.
That was a little close. He'll keep him alive for sure. Big heals on him anyways, and still a little scary, but definitely still possible to kill Ursa. Once he finishes his BKB after this, he's going to be absolutely fine, I'm sure. Doesn't look like he has one picked up just yet. Almost a Blink Dagger on Jarex too. The laning stage was a bit mediocre. The early team fights were great, but you're definitely feeling the losses of having a support Tiny in the last 5 to 10 minutes. But once they get the right-click items, Maelstrom's on the way for Arc Warden, but it just feels so hard to play against the Storm this game. He got way too much trajectory from those mid-game fights when he got that double kill and stuff. Like, Orchid is just going to hard counter Wind Ranger for a long time. Normally you have a better trajectory than this, like a faster Maelstrom into a faster BKB, but he's just starting it now.
I think they were hoping that this Wind Ranger would kind of have a more dominant laning stage, but that just wasn't really the case.
Yeah.
Seb's farmed all right, but hasn't really followed it up with much and has been on the receiving end of several Storm Spirit ganks. Sumail, 10 kills in the 23 minutes of gameplay so far already.
Very tough for them to win fights, but at least they've got Blink Daggers now, so that's going to give them more options to initiate maybe a Ava toss back into a Centaur, for example. Throw somebody out of position, kill them at the start of the fight, but kind of hard. There's a lot of heals coming from EJ's side. There's a lot of survivable cores as well, and S4 looking to go. And he does get spotted, though, by the Spark Wraith.
And they actually blow up S4. He's got a defensive Yule Scepter if he needs, and Anna getting orchided up. Can't use Stampede, can't use his stuns, at least not for now. Will he survive through it? No, he doesn't. There's a Reaper, and he's dead for 75. With Oracle also being initiated on meant that there was no defensive play from the False Promise or a Fate's Edict. EG win the fight and immediately smoke up. They leave S4 bottom.
They had some wards set up on the OG side, but it's so hard to prepare for that when you're against an Ursa and a Storm Spirit, because they're just going to jump in on you, and you don't have a lot of time to save yourself. You need some like team fight ultimate that slows things down, and they don't really have that outside of like Shackles or Centaur stuns. So at some point, who's going to hit the towers? They don't really have that either because they have a support Tiny. So maybe they outdrafted themselves a little bit.
EG went for a very aggressive smoke right after those kills, got all the way on the other side of the map, leaving S4 bottom. It felt like that may have tricked OG into playing a bit not defensive enough in the top lane, but...
Very common for them to be playing around this anyways. I mean, there's a tier 1. Tier 1s are hard to defend, so they probably expect there to be a ward there or something like that. That was even dangerous for Seb to go check high ground. Once again, smoking right underneath an observer ward.
When EG going to smoke themselves, they're ready for this one. They're going to...
They scan it, though.
They want to... Okay.
Scan each other, actually. They both know.
Do OG want to fight them head on? Yeah, actually, both teams smoked under a ward, I imagine. I actually didn't see where EG smoked if they're on the high ground or not.
They were about here, so I could definitely see it like that. Maybe thinking like, oh, we have an opportunity, but oh, maybe we shouldn't smoke because this is a really obvious spot.
The fact OG aren't moving with their smoke to me suggests they saw it, but here we go. RTG's going to go charging on in. He goes in first. He blows up the Oracle. This makes this fight so difficult for OG and the Shackle. It does land on the Storm. They do take down Sumail. Instantly buys back. S4 still looking for somebody to go and has not got the Reaper still. He finds the Yulsa cancel Thompson's TP. Great usage of that. Thompson in some trouble. He's inside the bubble. He's going to get chased down while Sumail's buyback allows him to chase down Wind Ranger. Seb hits the deck. Only Jarek surviving on Tiny.
Man, it took them everything just to kill Storm Spirit through the Glimmer Cape here. He wants the Jarek skill. Status ration's pretty low. He's got an Avatos maybe, but dodging the Avalanche.
He's got a haste rune though. He's going to throw him away. Sumail's not going to go for it.
Out of mana at that point. Definitely. He's a little sad about that one. He wanted the Rampage, I think. He didn't get every kill, actually, but still EG outmaneuvering a little bit in terms of these fights. But Ursa just always find the Oracle. I think you could definitely criticize Notel for his positioning in that fight. He was pretty close to the lip, but playing around a tree would have been a lot better, most likely. That way it's not as easy for them to find you.
He needed to be the ones hiding in the trees. Like, I saw Thompson in the trees in a nice little secretive position. It is difficult because, like, Storm's going to go bowling in and see people, but at the same time, it was Ursa who actually went in first and just found the Oracle.
So it's still going to be a long time till Oracle gets that survivability. And that's definitely been the criticism of the hero in the matches he's been in games so far, is that if you are the 5 position you're playing Oracle, it's probably hard. Like you need to play a little bit less greedy, I think, as a 5 to make this guy work, because you need a Glimmer or a Force Staff or something like that, like an item, so it's not just an easy kill every time they jump you. But No-Till exclusively is buying a lot of Sentry Wards. This is super common for him. Maybe Jarex is going to pick up some weight now so he can try to finish those items, but for now we haven't seen it yet. We do get a D-Ward at least for No-Tail. Putting a lot of sentries down eventually gets one.
Taking away this aggressive EG vision is going to make life a little bit easier, particularly against the Storm, who's just so good and adept at finding those long-range pickoffs. Many of their heroes are safe against that Orchid or Lightning jump.
And Arc Warden prepping for the Hurricane fight, actually.
Okay.
Could work okay. Very good against Ursa. Even if like Ursa jumps on his Oracle or something, using the Hurricane Pike would be great. Push that guy 400 units away from wherever he's standing. Get him away from the team. That's really what they need to do. They need to take a fight where they can ideally initiate on their opponents, which is hard. Centra's not the best initiator. and then they need to chain burst somebody, get some double shackles or something. It feels like they need a Ravage or something to like really win a team fight.
Yeah. EG, as far as these team fights go, have force-offs on both supports. Like their mobility and ability to kite OG is going to be very tricky to deal with. Grit with a Glimmer Cape as well, playing that 4-position CM, so we get to see that a little bit extra farm. Actually went for the mana cost, mana loss talent as well.
Which is second time we've seen this. It's with a Storm though.
Yes.
So it makes all of his mana go so much farther.
Oh, it's so good with that hero. No tell. Immediate false promise when Arteezy jumps him, just knowing that he could get bashed on any of those right clicks. Luckily, he does not get bashed immediately. And Sumail going to go bowling and use up his entire mana pool, but with the double damage room, he may be able to bring down Seppi. Anna gets the stun just on one with Arteezy BKB. He dodges it. Seb going to buy back and try and take this fight. Arteezy's BKB about to wear off. Can they actually chase for this one? They don't have Centaur, who's their kind of key initiating factor. The Tiny may be going to fill his shoes with his Blink Dagger, but looks like they don't want to fight into the Tombstone. Easy, happy to play the front line here. Sumail just going flying on in. This mana efficiency does get shackled up. Still alive for now, though, and he's just being healed up as well. He's just too hard to bring down. Falling all over the place, falling all over OG, who have 4 dead, only a Wind Ranger left alive who just fought back, and none of these other 4 have buyback. EG are just stomping right now. Yeah,
they've had pretty firm momentum ever since they got over the cheesy toss the guy back, kill the guy out of position thing. Just feels like OG hasn't been able to stabilize. Like playing Arc Warden against the Storm feels hard. He's had to itemize in a weird way with the Force Staff Rush rather than getting a damage item. And then for every other fight after that, it just seems like their opponents have team fight advantage from Tombstone and Ursa jumping on people and Necro getting a solo kill and Sumail jumping in. It just seems very hard for OG to take fights. The carry Centaur did not get anything done in the laning stage. Might get caught again here.
Get him, or will he stampede away? It looks like with the stampede wearing off, could be a pretty easy kill. As EG find kill after kill, 35 in just 29 minutes for one team. And they want Seb as well. Without the Reaper, though, that's going to be a little bit tricky, but ooh, okay, nice shackle. Seb will get out there with the shackle into TP.
That was a great teleport, absolutely. Instantly recognized.
Meanwhile, Arteezy, he was trying to TP top, I believe, and it got cancelled by Jerax with a cheeky little blink toss, but Jerax looking like he's going to pay for it with his own life.
Well, the game feels pretty much hopeless to me.
Just trying to kill off some Tempest doubles now. It's actually crazy with the CM Aura and the Kaya, just how low cost Storm spells are.
76 per run,
yeah. It's 26% total, 24% total. Yeah, no, sorry. That's some
pretty good.
Oz math going on here.
That's okay.
Gonna chase down No-Tell up top. Elsewhere, Zep's dying.
I know, we're gonna stay here. Don't worry about that stuff.
Okay, about Tops in 2.
Still alive.
Yeah.
Okay.
The support and support action, we're all about it.
Tops and died. All right, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's a 21k gold advantage at this point. It does not look good or possible to win for OG at this point to me. I mean, they're close to doubling them in net worth. Still need about another 10k or so, but it feels like OG doesn't have the damage. They don't have a typical carry. Executing is very difficult with the heroes they have, and against a good team, they're going to avoid that.
Yep. They're not done. EG charging in. Anna going to add one more to his tally. That's number 10. And Tiny not in much better shape. Goes down, and the voice line's coming out. I imagine OG know this one is a bit over and just trying to cheer each other up before going into game number 2.
Yeah. Maybe a little hard to execute with their hero matchups, but certainly the laning stage was the toughest part. Just having to lane a Centaur versus a Necro. That does not sound fun, but Necro, if I'm not mistaken, was the opening, right? They picked the Centaur in the mid game, and all of a sudden Ursa came out, and they're like, well, we definitely can't lane Ursa against Necro, or against Centaur. So.
And yeah, it feels like almost like a matchup they should have seen coming as far as the lane stage goes.
Yeah.
Just putting a hero that's going to match up poorly like Centaur in lane against him is, asking for things not to go very well.
Yes, not going to go very well. And the mid matchup, I think, went better for OG than they maybe expected, but offlane was okay, not amazing. They got that toss kill, which is awesome for the first blood, but it didn't push Thompson into this like complete snowball victory. And if it does, then maybe it's okay, but like then you have a support Tiny with toss. Like all he was doing was like tossing the CM to the enemy heroes. Like they got this first blood, and he got a little bit of items out of it, but it didn't give him enough of an advantage in the mid lane to really pay off, I don't think. Then it just gimps Tiny.
Definitely some nice moments out of the tosses, but in terms of the big picture of this game, it's not going to win you the games. Getting some supports, even when it was killing the Necro, who was a fairly big kill, you still had Sumail, who was just at no point in this game did it look like there was an answer for him. He was just using his entire mana to ball in. He ended the game with like 60 mana regen per second. He's just getting kill after kill. 14 kills, 17 assists. He did 30k damage in what was a pretty short game.
Yeah, I believe this dive ended up costing OG really quite a bit too. It took them a long time to end up killing the Ursa here. They just didn't have that much damage past spells, and then the Storm's runes were actually, it felt like every rune was like a huge play from Sumail. The first arcane kill, he got the haste rune at like 6 minutes and got a kill. He has another haste. Oh, the regen
one was after the arcane, actually.
And that got him bounty runes too.
Yep.
And like the next haste. It was just, runes were huge for Sumail this game. He had a fantastic performance.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of fun that the mid lane's been brought back to this very much 1v1 status, and that, runes are a big part of that. Arc Warden, not a hero that was trying to get or secure runes. I mean, part of it is the RNG factor, but it's also, well, he had a hero that bought a bottle, wanted to go for runes, while Thompson, he's not getting bottle, he's not going for runes. Every rune was going Sumail's way.
And just having a Storm that was doing well like this, it just made even fighting around the bounty runes bad. This is the fight that really kind of solidified EG's advantage, where they put some nuke into the Undying, but then they ran away. But it just wasn't in time. Ursa was able to wrap around, initiate there.
We also saw both Centaur and Tiny's Blinks come up very late this game, which seemed to really cripple them. I mean, obviously, that goes back to a lot of what we did talk about, the bad laning stage, but they needed those Blinks online earlier.
Which is kind of why Centaur stopped getting played, honestly, was that, like, you couldn't just do this off-lane thing and get some levels and then kind of transition. It's like, if you don't get stability in your lane, it is not very worth playing your hero. So picking him this game felt like a big loss for OG, because normally what people do is they'll go to the lane, they pick up a fast Vanguard like on Axe, kind of similar playstyle, and then they just stay in the lane. But you cannot do that against an Ursa. It's like impossible.
Yep.
And even against a Necro is really hard. So it's like he never got the gold to even get a Vanguard in the first place. So this, I mean, just kind of cascade after cascade. But even if Thompson doesn't make a mistake,
it was definitely a very value Ursa pick, matching up against two melee heroes in the Tiny and the Centaur, and even Arc Warden. That's a pretty good matchup for Ursa, because you can very easily get in the bubble. So you want to be playing these melee carries often against Arc Warden. Later on, he goes for Hurricane Pike, but at that point, Arteezy has a Blink Basher. If he gets into the bash, he may just kill the Arc Warden. So Arteezy also did almost 30k damage that game. He was just short of it, and had a very high impact, because I think his early game was a bit slower than Sumail's. We saw Sumail do a lot more flashy stuff, get involved, but once the game kind of got flowing, Arteezy was there all over the place as well. Everyone on EG seemed to do their job this game. That's where I feel like EG as a team look really solid right now, because it's not like there's one or two players like stepping it up and carrying the team. It's like, well, who can you even say played slightly poorly? I don't think anyone.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. What was the last question I'm kind of curious about is what was the pick order there of the heroes? Because I guess we can't tell within Dota TV, or within Dota, but yeah, because where did the Centaur come in? I think it was like a third pick or something. There was a Necro Crystal Maiden, I think. They picked Centaur or something. There was instantly an Ursa, I believe it was something like that. And it just really felt like the Centaur kind of messed them up as soon as the Ursa comes out, and then they forced their Tiny into support, which kind of worked, but also didn't. And it just felt from there they didn't have a normal team, and the game was difficult to win.
Definitely felt like OG put themselves in a tricky spot with the draft, but hey, I got another draft to go up against EG. We're going to take a break and bring you guys game number 2, draft number 2 between EG and OG. It's time now for game number 2 of OG versus EG. Godstreamy's Purge, and we had EG domination in game number 1.
We did. We saw some cool stuff out of OG. Their draft was a little bit tricky. We saw some cool toss into Centaur Stomp First Bloods, but past the 15-minute mark, things started falling apart, and then they fell apart really fast. And I guess thinking about the draft, it kind of just felt like EG just nailed them with every major pick, like halfway through to the end, like the Storm pick at the end, nullified the ability for Topson to go like a greedy item build that would actually scale better. The Ursa to counter the Centaur made their lanes hard. It just felt like they really thought this one out, and they put OG in a bad spot.
Yep. We didn't really see, the good ways of dealing with the Necrophos either. Like what we saw in the last series was having those saves against the ulti, but also like having a lot of magic damage or burst damage coming out as well. Like the Dark Willow type picks, but that didn't really exist on OG's side all that well.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe you could also criticize the early Oracle snag. Like, it was, I think, a useful hero, certainly, but it's like it countering the Reaper side didn't even matter, really. It was like they still had laning problems in a big way. That was like by far the biggest laning advantage that I've seen in a draft so far at TI. So maybe they're thinking to mid-game, to late game, just assuming like, oh, our lanes are going to go okay, we can make this work, but they didn't even get very past that. It just felt like safe lane was completely dominated, off lane went kind of poorly, and mid lane was like kind of a wash. So the Oracle made one of the lanes kind of weak, and then the Tiny Spore made the lane a little weak. It just felt rough all over the place.
As for EG or EG fans, they got to feel pretty good right now because that was very convincing. Solid play all around. Sumail Storm, always a treat to watch. Absolutely dominant. And the rest of the team also, doing some really good stuff. Flashy plays, convincing team fights, strategically look very good.
Yeah, great movements. I mean, literally the only thing that went super well for OG was some like toss Ava throwback things for Necro cores that when he couldn't defend himself well, so that worked out well. EG gonna ban Ursa themselves. I don't blame them. It definitely gives that the extreme laning advantage in the right circumstances and does scale well as a hero. OG's still waiting for their last ban.
I wonder if that. I imagine it does likely speak to something that EG are going to be like picking very early on. Maybe they want the Tiny or something and don't want to have to deal with an Ursa. Because considering it's a hero that OG haven't really prioritized, at least not in the same way EG have, and is typically like a kind of counter pick to certain things. Enchantress still in the pool.
But I feel like a lot of times you roll into TI, you need to ban what is the best hero, because that's always what happens at a tournament. You roll up and everybody has to figure out like what is the most broken hero to play against. I don't care if it's not something they played recently. It's like everybody's changing so fast at TI with strat stuff to try to update as fast as they can to try to win as many games that like it's just not worth it if OG doesn't pick the hero. You just ban it out, I think. Tiny was actually banned as well, so there's unlikely that. It's for that reason. I think it's just they just value the hero. The Pugna ban I think is targeted. Definitely something that OG used extremely well. And OG also going to ban out Phoenix. They know Fly likes it. And
it will be
Arteezy likes it. Get out of there.
Yeah, and I think this is where actually the Ursa ban makes sense because both Phoenix and Enchantress were in the pool. So those two heroes both counted by Ursa on some level. Having the Ursa's ability to kill the egg pretty well, having the Ursa in lane as a decent matchup against Enchantress. So yeah. I think EG know that they're going to get one of those two heroes, so why not ban out?
So have you seen that many Enchantress yet? We caught them in the OG games. Is it solidified as a support usually, or are we still seeing cores?
A core in the 3-position role. The one we saw in our games was obviously different.
It was a 5. It was still good. But
we saw a lot of the hero in the lead up to this event at the summit. It was played by all the teams in that 3-position role primarily, and then right after the event got a big nerf. It was like not on anyone's radar at Super Major, and then suddenly just was like during pub play and during Summit became like top pick.
Yeah, I think they buffed his Nature's Attendance too much. It was down to like they like raised the cooldown but lowered the mana at level 1, so it was like 110 mana on like a 35-second cooldown. But they're like, oh, that's a salve. Okay, just pop salve. Yeah. Now it's like 170 mana level 1, I think. So at least you have to spend a lot of mana to heal yourself in those circumstances.
Got to buy Mango's Clarities you can, but aren't really reliable because if you're a 3-position, you can't really be popping Clarities.
Yep. So EG not that different draft opening in some ways. Yep. No Necro, they go for Enchantress instead to cover their bases a little since the counters are out, and they still grab the CM. Just gave everybody mana, help them win the lanes. even without CM Aura, I think they still would have stomped their lanes, certainly. But I'm sure it helped. Like, especially if you're really winning your lanes, having the mana on top of that to just give you lane longevity is like probably like the nail in the coffin difference, I feel like. So maybe just a safe opening no matter what.
And I imagine a big part of what they like about CM is if later on the draft they can pick Storm, they know they get that Aura, which actually buffs up the Storm a lot. So having a setup for a hero that you don't have to pick, but if it's a good Storm game, suddenly it's a great Storm game.
OG's turn to ban.
And pretty much no matter what happens, CM's decent in the lane, at least. Certainly better than a hero like Oracle from level 1 and onwards. So Venge is on the up and up. Definitely one of the heroes that's been talked about as somebody we expected to see streaking. Can be played off lane, maybe some support roles. I'm not sold on it being one necessarily yet, but her nukes are just really really efficient for damage dealt per mana as an opening. And it also gives them synergy potential.
Ooh, another Oracle. This one not really picked up immediately with like maybe a counter in mind, like last game against the Necro ulti, but...
I mean, Dispel's still good. Lots of magic burst, can cover allies, save cores. Still no Wraith King ban either, so it could be a Wraith King pick anywhere in here. Topson.
I don't know if I've seen... Have these teams been playing the Wraith King?
I don't think so.
Like, I know VGJ from NA have.
I think S4 was playing it day one, maybe.
Okay.
I feel like I saw at least one. Maybe that was just Summit talk, but I don't know if they played it at Summit. Was that here even popular? Not sure.
Nyx has risen in prominence. I know a few teams have really been liking Nyx.
I think it was the Serenity, I believe, was like first phasing it. So seeing a second phase feels better to me. Like, this is a great game against Oracle. Hit the back line, kill that guy. Mirana squishy, Vengeance potentially squishy if initiated on from Invis. So I think it's a good opening considering they elect Disable.
And again, OG going to keep their faith remaining in the center. It must be this combo, this Oracle Centaur. They had the lane together last game. It didn't work. Maybe they're just saying, look, that didn't work, but we still believe it can work. It's a nuking hero to pair with Oracle if you want to do that same combo in the safe lane. Like, you can, you know, you're not too scared of Ench in terms of the untouchable, the passive. And theoretically, the burst damage may mean that the heal isn't as effective as well.
Yeah, you could also, Fate's Edict him to do double edges, I guess, would be kind of a fun little thing to do.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that takes, like, level 4 Oracle usually, because you want to get 2 in your nuke, so it's just, like, a difficult to get to thing.
Sorry, Kevin, what was that? Can you start again?
I said Echo Slamma Jamma. Couldn't you hear me?
Oh, that was you. Okay.
Yeah, that was me. I just that perfect impersonation. That's all. The Spectre pick looks good for EG for me, because OG's heroes are... I see some synergy stuff that they can do, certainly. Like, they could also Oracle Mirana. I mean, maybe it will be Oracle Centaur. They could do Venge Centaur, stun and a stun, but it doesn't. Those aren't really heroes that are just lane dumpster heroes, and I feel like that's usually what you want against a Spectre. Just like really slow him down. It's either that or you have to go crazy ganky in the mid game, and against top teams, that's really hard to do.
Last time they did run the Venge on Jerax that I saw OG play, it was like 4 position. He went off lane. He spammed his Wave of Terror. He just kept harassing. So maybe like a Venge Mirana harass lane, but. We'll see. CM with the Nova is a pretty good harasser as well. And even the Spectre, level 1 with that dagger against Mirana. We saw Mirana get bullied out of lane because she got arrow first. And you kind of want to get arrow first. You don't want to have to go leap level 1, but Spectre is not a completely useless laning hero.
So I would say if they have like a Venge Mirana dual lane, then like a Venge stun to arrow is always going to be good, because that's definitely one of CM's weaknesses. Not high armor, not high HP. So if you do a stun into a stun while right-clicking her, she's always going to super lose that trade. She'll lose like at least 300 to 400 HP, which sounds okay. Against the Spectre, maybe not so much, harder to arrow in, but I could definitely see that for sure. Like, CM is exploitable in that way, but if they put an Enchantress against it and she gets heal level 1 and she gets a heal off, I think she's not going to die. But maybe if they get enough mana longevity, they can make that work, perhaps.
So we'll see what OG's last pick's going to be. EG's thinking it could be an Alchemist, so they ban that out. And then they do pick the Storm once again, going back for it. The CM with the Storm, given the aura, as well as that level 15 talent. And OG going with a Thompson Classic this time around, or will it be Anna? He's played it at least once this tournament already, so it's not always the Thompson one.
I feel like it is. I mean...
Yeah, they must think this hero... They're waiting to know he has a good matchup, and Storm, I'd say, is a decent enough one.
Yeah, and again, if you guys aren't very familiar with Thompson, he's a new addition to OG based on their recent partial disband, and the guy plays a lot of interesting heroes in his solo queues. So far at TI, his picks have been more standard, definitely, but Monkey King is one of those that he's been playing successfully in the past. So I would assume that he's going to know what he's doing here against Sumail, but again, it's also Sumail Storms. Sumail should know what he's doing in addition, so... maybe he can get a lot of advantage there. That would be a good find for them. And it's definitely a core that can turn into a pressure hero. So somebody that Spectre's got to be a little bit worried about.
I'm excited to see it. You know, Thompson on one of his signature heroes, Sumail on his signature hero. Obviously, one of the best, most mechanically skilled mid laners, but Thompson, you know, it's a bit of an unusual matchup. I don't know if Sumail's going to have played this Storm versus Monkey King all too much, so it could cause him some problems.
Yeah, I mean, Storm's a very slow hero. He's like 280 or 285 or something like that. Monkey King's more around 305, I think. He's got practically can attack as far as Storm Spirit can. it's not too far off there. But Storm does have high armor at least, so at least the damage that Thompson does and the lifesteal he gets back is not as high.
Yeah, if he's trading hits, like particularly level 1, level 2, Monkey King has no armor, doesn't trade very well. That Jingu level 1 doesn't really give you that much lifesteal even, so we'll see.
Kind of depends on his early items. A lot of times for Monkey King, it's like, well, I need Stout Shield because I have 0 armor, but I also really want Orb of Venom so that I can have a movement speed advantage and get more hits.
And then you really want the fast boots / face boots as well.
Exactly. And you also can't afford both Stout and Orb and have a lot of regen, so sometimes you just get out regen. It's kind of a hard gamble to meet here. But
one of those heroes that wants a lot of those really small items. And then you even want like a Ring of Aquila, so the small items really empower Monkey King, but yeah, it's like which one do you value the most? So right now,
stable stuff like Stout, Quelling, last hitting,
and he's got even the slippers. So we'll probably just see a fast Aquila, may even go like boots Aquila and just not care about the like Orb of Venom you mentioned, as good as it is.
Tip trading here, don't know why. I really like the. Why can they do this so fast? Maybe there's a limit. I don't know. What do we got here? Oh, arrow coming through.
Arrow. Oh, barely clips. S4 almost ran out of that one here. Now they've got the right click. Give it to Thompson. He's got the last hit on it. Thompson with the first blood mid. Same story as last game. Well, that's going to make him a happy camper.
This is way superior to last game, because last game it was a Tiny that had to really hurt himself, but this time Venge hasn't even skilled a point, so he's fine. Thompson gets the first blood again, and just like we were talking about, those early items are, it's going to be a Sentry Ward. It's pretty boring, actually, but who knows? Maybe it'll matter. He's queuing up a Orb of Venom, at least. It's about 75 gold away from getting that. Just wants to have less high ground vision for his ally, or his opponent, I guess. Oh, they actually found the D ward. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I got the Sentry, I guess.
Okay. Sentry to get the D ward.
Builds a prediction. Play with most D wards by 15 minutes. I'm putting Thompson.
Hey, you're going to make me jealous, John. I'm not allowed to do that as the observer because they want production value at TI for some reason.
Who needs?
I'm jealous, man. I want my battle. I mean, my battle pass is already like level 1200, but for some reason
I'm a pleb. So.
I want to complete my achievements. That's true. You need this. It's important. So fast Orb of Venom is coming, which means now he's going to have this huge movement speed advantage against the Storm Spirits. 285 versus a 300 movement speed hero, so kind of scary for Sumail.
Jarex pulling them behind the tier 1 top tower, forces our TZ actually to TP. He scared them a lot there. Sep wasn't even there, but they didn't know about that because he just walked up, threw a wave, and forced a TP.
So he does end up killing the range creep, interestingly, with the arrow. I assume he wants to do this because it lets them pressure their opponent a bit more, less creeps to fight.
Well, the idea is you push the wave and then you use this side pull, but immediately you see Fly. Once he sees that happening, he blocks the big camp. Gotcha. So if this big camp isn't blocked, you side pull and you deny a lot of farm and get a lot of extra experience advantage.
Makes sense.
Back in mid, Thompson and Sumail trading hits quite a bit here. Sumail.
That's a kill right there.
Oh, Fairy Fire. It's almost a kill. He salved as well.
That was really close, actually. He almost salved up enough. He would have lived without dying, but Thompson barely getting enough damage in.
So I like this a lot, Kevin. OG have learned they kill Sumail. They don't tip Sumail. They tip Thompson. They tip the teammates. You don't want to taunt Sumail.
Good idea.
It's bad strategy. Doesn't work. Stick to tipping teammates.
Positive reinforcement. Sumail also comes back with full HP. Thompson's at a mere 40%. He does have a salve coming, as well as his Null Talisman, or his Wraith Band, that is.
And now he's going to have the second point in Jingu, so that's a lot more value. Doubles the lifesteal, and also with Boundless Strike, he can get that big lifesteal off of the whole wave.
Big mistake from Sumail, actually. I didn't see that one coming at all, but he used the Boundless Strike earlier to get a last hit. And they just walked up and slapped him a couple times.
This is definitely the lane to watch where Sumail is already struggling quite a bit here. And you can definitely see some unfamiliarity with this matchup. Thompson, considers the Boundless Strike. He's going to go for it. Lifesteals off the entire wave.
Jeez. Gets full health. Sumail's down to nothing again. He still has a salve, but man, that's very costly in this lane.
Yeah, Thompson with a lot of last hits to go. with this lane dominance. Has a haste rune as well. Ooh, that's a value rune.
Speaking of which, Ana is owning this game, 13-2 in last hits, but he's up against a Enchantress and a Nyx Assassin. So once he picks up Quelling, he can actually get last hits reliably here.
The lane will get harder. He's out of regen, and Enchantress with a few levels gets a bit trickier to deal with. Crit to return Carapace into an Impale. What a sick play from him. They kill Ana down bottom. They want No-Tell as well, and Crit's got plenty of regen here playing around with. He's playing around with, and should be fine. Back at mid, Thompson, though, has got that second Boundless Strike point and killed off Sumail for the second time this game.
Now Thompson's going to be in his comfort zone. We saw a game at the Red Bull Land in Toronto where he had an insane stomping game. It looked like he got so far ahead that the game was just over by 15 minutes. And maybe we'll see something like that this game.
Top lane there, trying to line up an arrow there, but the creep wave was kind of blocking Seb. So even if Jarek stunned either CM or the Spectre, it would not have actually set anything up.
Magic Stick's really paying off in this lane too. Just more mana to cast these spells.
Yep. On the dire side, they have the CM aura, but it's only doing so much. That's actually a really annoying thing for Centaur, that the Nyx can proc Carapace on return.
Yeah, actually. Any right click he does, just instant Carapace stun.
Very clever play from him down bottom. As top laner TZ. CSing not great. 8 CS, 15 CS on the Mirana. Only the Storm who's actually managed to get some okay farm, but he's died twice, so that farm's kind of being given away, and Thompson is level 5 already with Sumail just barely hitting level 4.
Yeah, the fact that he got 3 kills, well, 2 kills out of the solo lane. He got the first blood, obviously. The fact that he got 2 kills out of this lane before Sumail goes to jungle is really, really costly here. Maybe a little bit of the greed by Sumail thinking he could outplay the lane.
Something we didn't also talk about is that D-Ward gives experience, 100 experience, I believe.
Oh, that's a great point.
That's half your way to level 1, level 2. And
his allies left, so he got full experience.
Yes, got full XP for the D-Ward, which gave him a decent gold advantage and XP advantage, all from that level 1 First Blood and D-Ward.
All right, so if I'm Sumail, I'm just complaining that his team had to 5-man smoke to get him so far ahead that he could win the lane. That's the only reason I lost it.
That's definitely not the only reason, but those small things make a big difference in these mid 1v1 matchups, and this is definitely not like a entire reflection of what a pure 1v1 would look like between these two players and heroes.
Yeah, one of the things I really like about Thompson is how much he tries to affect the map. Like right now, he just used his courier to run faster, went and looked for Storm Spirit in the jungle. Storm wasn't there. He ends up walking back to base and TPing to the other shrine. So it's like, rather than just sitting in AFK in his lane, he does try to get stuff for himself sometimes, or for help his team.
Ooh, they sidestepped the arrow, nicely dodged. Jarek's going to go down, and that means our TZ will get that bounty rune. As OG do get 3, though. You can see just how dominant of a laning stage they've had when they can get 3 bounty runes.
A little scary here. They maybe can get a crit kill, but low on mana.
No-Tell gets the kill and may also get out of this one. He disarms the Enchantress with the level up. He's going for the deny. Not quite successful. Not enough duration on that Fate's Edict. As Ana's going to, ferry S4 back to the lane.
He's like, hit me, please. I can't hit you.
Let me accompany you.
Slows him down, I guess. I don't know, for fun.
I think that really was just a bit of fun and taunting. Back at mid, it's an empty lane. Thompson, level 7. Storm, level 5. He's in the jungle. He's not happy right now.
Well, you got an Arcane. That feels a lot better, I must say.
The jungling efficiency. Would love to hit level 6 and maybe make some moves just so he can find some kills somewhere on the map.
They're smoking around. Does he have Boundless Strike? No, he doesn't have Primal Spring yet.
So sees him. Wants to get a deep ward. Gets one behind the tier 1. Maybe ward the rest of the jungle as well. Sumail's going to run right into this Venge stun. There's going to be a Fortune's End to follow it up, most likely. Can they actually get this kill? They don't have the Monkey King, but I don't know if they need him. They purge off the Purifying Flames, and they get the kill. The second one.
There it is. Thompson's in his zone, man.
Oh, he sees Fly. He does kind of reveal the fact there's a ward there here. I'm not sure if they'll... I mean, we'll be able to get this kill most likely with the Jingu, and may pay for it with a D-Ward, but...
All right, he's online, guys. It's happening. This is Thompson Monkey King, man. If he gets into this play zone, he knows exactly what his limits are. He keeps track of his opponents. I mean, great rotations from the supports as well on OG's side to pick off a Storm like that.
He actually went double Wraith. This is something you see on heroes that often go for Hurricane Pike, but Monkey King is not going Hurricane Pike. He just wanted the extra stats.
This reminds me actually so much of the game they snowballed in front.
Bottom lane, Ana was getting dove under his tower for a second. I missed the stun as he pokes his nose out now. For all the good early game CS he had, he is struggling now and losing his tower. Arrow will hit a siege creep, at least one of the 2 siege creeps.
That's absolutely fine here.
This is classic Ench things. Get double siege creep, push towers.
Ooh, great glyph here. It's going to get a couple. That'll put the tower in deny range. I don't know if they're going to be able to...
I don't know if that is such a great glyph. Since it's going to get denied, it should get denied.
Or will it?
They want to bait. They're bringing everyone in down bottom, so it looks like they are trying to bait it.
Okay, makes sense.
By the way, Sumail almost died again. He had to use all his mana to bowl away from Thompson, but back at bottom, they have gone in. Arrow, crit, kind of blocks it. Not sure if it was going to hit S4 or not, but he can say he saved his life there. As EG getting pummeled in this early game.
Okay, 3K advantage at this point is insane.
Yeah, look at this Radiant Vision, there's ward. They know they're ahead and that EG is going to catch up by jungling, so they ward everywhere. In the jungle, in the lanes. They are persistent with their warding.
It's got to feel good after the first game where they just had laning troubles. Yep. I haven't taken a look at the offlane very often lately. So on the bright side, Arteezy's 40-6, so he's doing well.
Yep.
Net worth-wise, it's not beautiful compared to the giant net worth of Thompson. But yeah. The interesting thing is, how is Thompson going to transition? Because even if he does have a really good lane, it's still about execution. That's one of the problems with Monkey King sometimes. So he's got to turn this advantage into something while still pressuring the cores. And now that Storm's 6, he's more survivable here. Getting these kills are harder. Although if he does get chain stuns or Fortune's End root follow-ups, that could work really well. Oh, they actually didn't deny the bot tower. A bit of a mistake there. Yeah. Must not have gone back. That's kind of a big loss.
They kind of forgot about it as bottom lane. Sumail, oh my gosh, he doesn't even get a chance to ball on out. Double damage. Monkey King drops on top of him, takes him out. Feels like Arteezy, as much as he's like kind of the carrier on the Spectre, he needs to be using this haunt as much as possible to help his team find kills. Like, he's probably should be telling his team, set up a gank for me and I will haunt and help secure them. Mid lane, Arteezy though is getting ganked himself. So
that was an illusion, I'm pretty sure. That was insane. He already had Jingu Mastery from the Storm, right?
Oh, yeah. So, he still even has 2 left.
Gave him 2 little baby hits, and that guy died.
Yeah.
He's even got 2 points in Dispersion and an Aqua. He's got high armor and survivability.
Sumail comes back mid. He's going to immediately be sent away from mid. Thompson is just unstoppable right now. Has 2k gold. He hasn't spent it yet. He's got the Echo Saber queued up, which is just this early game fighting item. Allows you to easily get those Jingu stacks.
It's really good in this position because you're playing against a bunch of heroes that are like pre-6 usually. So against like a CM, by the time you get your stun off and hit somebody with a single time and an extra Echo Saber hit, you're going to get your 4th proc off and very often get a kill.
Yep.
So it's huge for snowballing right now.
Moonlight Shadow was used. Moran at bottom. Going to get out of there. As top lane, they do look to initiate on S4. He gets the heal off though. Can they burst him before the heal really kicks in? It doesn't look like that's the case. And Ana forced to TP on out. The heal should be enough. The Impale comes a little bit too late.
Has no Desolate.
Get it off in time.
I don't know if he would have gotten the kill either way, but certainly would have helped a little bit. And first Haunt, not getting them anything other than covering S4 a bit.
Yep. And good news, Thompson bouncing around is being scouted by Dire Vision, so they've got these wards to help protect themselves a little bit. Fly will secure the other bounty room, which Thompson immediately becomes aware of. Oh, they see Fly TPing, and that should be the death of the core Crystal Maiden. Boundless Strike is there. Thompson will finish him off. Sumail, though, poaches the regen bottom, so small little consolation.
He's gotten good runes for jungling, that's for sure. This one will be helpful. Maybe they try to pressure Spec again. He's going to end up hitting the jungle. I do like how EG is kind of sitting their lanes right now. They're putting S4 in the lanes that are dangerous. If he just stays top, killing him is hard, and therefore killing the tier 1 tower is hard. And if they just...
Oracle brought down. But yeah, putting S4 in these tricky lanes was working well. But then this Monkey King now has enough attack speed as also well as an Echo Saber to do whatever he wants. Godlike at 11 minutes. This is the Thompson Classic.
It really is.
This is also the Monkey King like Snowball Classic. Like when you have that good lane and have that good start, he's impossible to stop.
And this is against one of the best players in the world. It's just an incredible performance. I'm glad you guys got to catch it because I was really excited watching him play a Monkey King just like this the other day. So they still got to stabilize somewhere. Storm has basically been jungling all game. Spectre has to basically jungle or stay off lane most of the time, or at least go to lanes where his opponents aren't at. And now finally they're able to actually deal with the Enchantress semi-straightforward. He only has 2 points in Untouchable, but it's kind of hard to just get more Untouchables.
Yep. Crit, right now level 6, with the help of the Experienced Tome, is in a much better shape to actually set up ganks or even just scout out enemy heroes, which in itself is valuable. So.
But with these tower kills, it's going to be more gold being flooding into the supports. So No Tail's got sentries, Venge has sentries. They have ways to defend against this and start dewarding.
I mean, I think the call has to be for EG, you got to start defending towers. You know, Nyx Vendetta initiate, bring in the Storm now. He's got treads. That's all he's got, but that's at least something that is completed. He just finished it now, 12 minutes in.
Okay.
say no to OG's tower pushes. Bring in the Spectre Haunt. Like, once you have Haunt, maybe that's probably what you're waiting for. Then you defend a tower, and you let towers go if you don't have Haunt.
It's so hard for them to fight, though. RTZ still going multiple points in Dispersion, knowing that him getting ganked is by far the biggest danger here.
Yep.
Sub taking some damage. This 4 going to be forced to pop out of Seal. Can you dispel that? No, you cannot. That would be broken.
Yeah, Nature's Attendant being removed. That hero would be useless if that was the case.
Absolutely.
Unless you like 10th Pictor like a Brood.
So trying to defend a little. They are slowing things down a smidgen, but when the Monkey King comes, things get a little scarier. Where is he at, actually? He's here.
By Crit's Nyx Assassin.
Oh, he's a haste rune. He's a hasted haste rune. I was like, where's the monkey? I can't find it. It's a cloud. This is great. A great little guy here.
Now he's
barely see him.
Had the cloud, got rid of the cloud.
It's fun. It's like one of those things that only if you play like 1,000 games of Monkey King, you're like, oh, I can turn into a haste rune and run really fast. This is fun. Let's abuse this. You know? Sometimes you just get so confused by those things that it does give you that little fraction of a second to initiate anyways.
Sure. No tell. Oh, is he going to be scouting these trees? Crit checked one side. The Haunt, going to find him on the other. The Impale. Oh, he misses Crit. Instead, though, it's Monkey King. They got the bigger kill. That's where Arteezy was really going. Thompson's streak has been ended by the Storm. We've got ourselves a game. This is not over yet, say EG. You may have got this good early game start, but all it takes is a kill or two to punish that. And Sumail, of all people, getting the last hit.
Wow, 700 gold, that's big. Picks up level 9. Still working on his Kaya, though, so it's not super independent by himself, but he was playing around the enemy jungle. Maybe he got caught on trees. It's kind of what it looks like. Looks like they ball lightning to cut his trees. Stunned him for 4 seconds, if I had to guess.
He got Carapace as well by something. Maybe.
Are you sure? No, that's from the bottom.
Oh, that's from bottom. Oh, that's Nyx. Just kidding. Just kidding. Who knows?
So once again, same thing. S4 goes the lane. That's dangerous. Is difficult to kill. He's got a Dragon Lance now. Helps a little.
Yep.
And his Chorus farm in jungle again. Must be nice to have a CM if you're a Spectre, though, in a game like this, because killing neutrals is not fast. So at least he has lots of mana to spam Spectral Daggers all the time.
Yes. Yeah. Push out waves that little bit faster, too, just when you can dagger them, doing that AoE damage. Why not? But want to see OG. That's kind of a wake-up call, you know. As good as this game has gone, and for Thompson specifically, you're godlike at 11 minutes. When you die, that's a lot of gold being given away. He's considering the ultimate in mid. Arteezy. Not afraid, though, as he continues to farm.
Yeah, if he had a little cover there, or maybe one other hero with a stun, that could have worked out.
Again, though, it's Crit, though, on the Nyx. He's scouting everyone out, giving intel for the team. Valuable in itself. He may just snipe a Curry here. That's gold for the team. You take those.
Other 2 heroes smoke. It's Ana as well as No Tail shifting over. They know that the cores are on the other side of the jungle. At least they expect it. They're going to find the support, though.
It's the bounty runes, too. Very common play that we're seeing more and more of is these smokes and moves, team rotations around bounty runes, knowing that, hey, worst case scenario, it may just be one hero, but hey, you'll take that one support kill.
They did get 3 either way, so
yes.
1 kill, 3 bounties, small advantage there.
Oh, yeah.
Thompson still aiming to get a BKB.
Yes, when recognizing he may as well just go straight into this pseudo-invulnerability item. One of my Ana forced to stampede just to run the hell out of here, but
this is really
damage. Yeah, Sumail suddenly realized, oh wait, we can actually kill this guy.
The single value point of enchant is so good. It's 3.75 seconds of slow. So that's all.
Such a big slow. 55% slow is incredible.
Yep. So Thompson pushing out top, pushing a little towards farming more so than ganking the last bit of time. But it is kind of hard to get kills. It's like one of those moments where you do a great job stomping your lanes, getting some ganks off, but then because you're contracting the map so much, your opponents are just kind of near each other all the time, and getting those kills becomes even harder. But this could be one good grab they could get, but no, he's gonna jump away, Storm TPing, and that would have been a great snag. They could have gone for the Chain Stun, maybe a Frostbite follow-up and Storm Ball, and that would have been a Thompson kill, so he gets out just in time.
Going to Roche instead. The arrow to start things off here. The Venge wave maxed out. Level 4 Wave of Terror going to reduce Roche's armor by quite a lot here, and EG... They've got all their spells and ultis, but except for Vendetta, which is probably a pretty important one, considering that's how you would scout out the Roshan pit. EG just don't seem to realize Roche is going on right now. They've circled the area, but they're expecting them on the high ground, on the plateau.
It's taken a while to do this. Wave of Terror is helping, but...
Yeah. Seb's like, I'm going to leap out just for this arrow, and...
That's how they're desperate.
Yeah.
They don't have bottom ulti either. Maybe it's just one of these like unexpected moments, or maybe they realize like, look, this pressure thing that we're trying to do isn't working. Let's just take Roche, because they're not even crossing the river most of the time. They're just looking for us when we're across the map. He cast his ulti. He's just worried.
Okay.
I think that's more than fine, to be honest.
They're kind of in a farming state until they get their BKBs, which Topson mostly has his, so he's going to have to wait a little bit longer. But even other players like Mirana just want to complete her BKB, so it may just be 2 minutes of farming while they wait for their items, as well as the Wukong's command to come back up, and then they can go and do something with the Aegis.
Yeah, because once they finish the BKBs, they don't have to worry about Sumail doing Sumail things, like getting kills and snowballing like crazy. For now, they're looking for the Centaur, though.
Yeah, they start things off with a Carapace into an Impale. The Storm shows up as well, and great little gank there. Arteezy gets the kill, moves forward looking for a second one, but the Moonlight Shadow was there to get him out. And this is the power of EG's Lamp, is the ability to find these pickups and kills.
Really feels like if Kurt was having a rough game, or if he was playing bad, they would be so far behind. Yeah. But he's been everywhere he needs to be. He's been setting up kills. He's been coordinating with his team and making things happen. If not for that, it feels like they would be completely lost right now.
Yeah.
Once again, there he is.
Another kill, yeah. It's nothing glamorous about it. He's 1-4-4. It's like not a crazy scoreline or anything, but it is right now probably the most high impact stuff happening on his team. He is enabling the Storm to have a game right now, as well as Spectre.
And he's just always by his enemies. Like the crazy thing about how far ahead OG is that if they had a gem, this whole thing would be shut down. So it's almost like if their tempo would have been a little bit worse and they start stomping mid-game, it felt like they could have been doing whatever they wanted to. But instead, Crit just gets to scout them constantly.
It's one of those rare games where maybe you wish you did just buy an early gem on someone like Centaur.
Yeah.
To stop that from happening a bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many defensive wards. They would have cleared a lot of them on EG's side. But now EG's been able to get back into this. Only barely a 1K advantage, going for the swap here.
Lightning coming on in, but there's going to be a 2-man stun here. Storm actually balled into that one a little bit, but they don't have any good follow-up, so Sumail going to continue to try and bring down Ana here. He may need some additional help. Yeah, he's very, very tanky. The return doing some good damage. Nice disjoint on the magic missile. Sumail. Oh, the Venge Illusion. No! Sumail! One more hit. Oh. He gets it. Oh!
Oh, man. It's worth it in the end.
They hurt so much, and Monkey King comes in to clean up Fly.
And there was also a dead Arteezy that Topson cleaned up somewhere without using his ulti.
Yeah, that can happen. That's a Monkey King for you, and that's going to force a CM buyback. The game had finally started to look like it was stabilizing for EG, and that they were going to be in a position where they could go late game, get Spectre some items, get Storm some items, and then OG say, no, we've got this Aegis, we're going to bully you.
Ooh, that was a really good frostbite. Actually, that changed everything. If he gets his ulti off there, throws the stun, pops BKB or something, they can get some,
one S4.
Get some kills.
Topson going for the ultimate, knowing that's going to maybe help bring down S4. The arrow, though, yeah, hitting Jerickson. S4 getting bullied by the Wukong's command. He's going to go with the BKB, but he immediately runs away. So Topson, not quite the initiation he was hoping for. They're all tipping into this shrine. Can they get killed? Sumail, they've got a Boundless Strike forward. He gets deleted. Great play from Ana as well as Topson there to get that kill here, but they're not done. EG, they say that's a lot of your disables being used here. Topson gets brought down first. The CM ulti is going flying, and that's going to last a long time. That's going to be there when the Monkey King respawns Topson. He can't leap away. The arrow's going to completely miss. He didn't know where Fly was. He didn't have vision on the high ground. Topson has a Boundless Strike in a couple of seconds. He's got it now. Can he get it off? It doesn't look like it, as they kill him as well. All of a sudden,
that's a hard thing with Monkey King, man. Like you have to execute perfectly in some of those crucial moments. Like if he popped BKB before he started to hit the Enchantress, it would have changed everything. Because then he would have instantly got the first hit off. He would have got an Echo Saber proc. Probably would have gotten 4. Maybe finishes off Enchantress, but instead it just becomes hard. Can't quite spot him. No other stuns.
Yeah, use both Carapace and Impale to initiate, but that will definitely slow down this OG momentum. They've gotten a bit too aggressive going for that high ground play with the Monkey King, and like you say, the Monkey King, the way the BKB usage is just, it's very difficult to time when you need to use it, and with a hero like Monkey King, a lot of the time is making sure you get your Wukong's command off, which with the long cast time can be very tricky to do. We saw it get cancelled several times there. The CM Frostbite really changing things a lot.
Yeah, it was huge. Crit played that fight really good. They've got an invis set up on S4 though, so they need some rotations are coming. Seb on the way as well. There's a lot of creeps in the area though, so he knows what to fear. It's gonna be close. Oh, so close. Maybe the Centaur ulti a mistake there, kind of revealing thing. But with that said, there was an Observer Ward over here that did spot some rotations, so he was probably going to back no matter what.
Maybe it helped Mirana even get there sooner with the movement speed for the arrow, but
that's true.
Here we go. OG right off of that will go smoke directly towards mid lane. They see Arteezy. They want to go on him. He's going for this Manta style build. We saw this yesterday from Resolution, knowing that if you go for this greedy Radiance build up, it can be so hard to get there without your team losing the game in the process. So get this intermediary kind of stat item, farming item. Radiant Scan will see the Crystal Maiden, but at the same time, Crystal Maiden seems to know where they are.
Yeah, she put a sentry on the high ground. That means they both know that they are aware of each other.
Oh yeah, the sentry was still giving that short.
It's going to run out. Fly's going to have to, Nova for this one. Use a Tango 4. This could cost him.
Yeah, Thompson doesn't want a BKB for that one and won't have to.
It is scary dewarding as a support, I must say. You always worry about moments like that. But a big kill for him. That's going to give them pretty much easy leeway to take this tier 1 tower. Any dead hero means your opponents are probably not going to start a fight.
Yep. So bottom tier 1 goes down. They may look to keep on pressing this bottom lane, although Arteezy will use that as a positive sign. They're pushing bottom. This is freedom for me to go farm these other lanes. Top lane's fairly safe. Mid lane, enemy jungle doesn't have to go and defend because he can always haunt in should there be a fight. But they actually get the stun initiation on S4, follow-up stun as well. Storm goes falling in. Here comes Arteezy with the haunt. He's looking for the initial kills. The Wukong's command does come out though and tops it with a BKB, as does Seb on the Mirana. These BKBs may be too much for EG to handle. They kill off both Spectre and Nyx, but they lose a couple supports in the process, but just supports as Sumail gets stunned at the sideline. He needs to fall out. He's going to go for the kill first. He dodges the arrow with the ball forward. Seb thought he had him, but he got baited. It's going to be a team wipe. What a play from EG as they completely obliterate OG in the bottom lanes. It started out okay looking for OG with the Wukongs, but Sumail just demolished them.
Yeah, they got out of the Wukongs really fast is what it felt like on EG's side. There's just a lot of Spectre illusions. I'm sure that helps as well. Haunt's just tanking attacks. And the Oracle got killed almost instantly by the Orchid. And from there, it was just kind of straightforward. Monkey King couldn't fully commit to get a kill. He ended up getting really low in the engagement, probably to, I think, S4 just pinging away the whole time.
S4 did 3,000 damage, the most of the entire EG side.
Yeah, just sitting back, throwing impetus the whole time. And with the Hurricane Pike, able to... I mean, isn't that how it started, though? They went on the Enchantress, he forced up, and then it became like a team fight. It was just maybe a little bit of a overly expectant team fight.
If you're going to initiate on the Ench, you need to blow her up. That's one of those scenarios where the hero you jump when you're diving a tower has to instantly die. If they survive, 99 times out of 100, you're just instantly losing that fight unless you're just miles ahead because you've committed so many spells and resources to that one kill, and all S4 used was, a Hurricane Pike and his heal. The rest of his teammates had all their spells available.
Yeah, and hard to pick him off, definitely, because Monkey King has to be concerned about where he drops his ultimate and who's closest by to get a couple hits off. Definitely difficult to play Monkey King sometimes. Doesn't get spotted here by the sentry, but Enchant certainly sitting around to wait. Oh, did they know? Okay. I think they saw. Oh, there's a free bounty rune here. So as these fights go okay for EG, it just means that their cores are going to get into a better and better place. And in the Ultra late game, they have better carries. Centaur has not really paid off. It worked well in the laning stage, I feel like. But ever since then, he just feels like a stun and a double edge, maybe.
It almost feels... I wonder if this is a reaction to their games yesterday, like a confidence thing where Ana just doesn't want to be playing these carries anymore, because it's like 2 games in a row where Seb on a win range and now Mirana, they're not really carries, but they are the scaling cores, while Ana's been playing Centaur, which is the non-scaling core, like what would traditionally be your 3-position offlaner. Oh, Carapace again as a setup. Ana does have the backup from Seb, and actually it's Crit who's maybe unfortunately gone into a fight he probably shouldn't have, as he will pay for that one with his life.
Does cost him a BKB. Yeah. I think he was... Yeah, I was hoping to just like one-shot somebody. Maybe Mirana was full HP, but... and Jex does pick up a gem now, so it's a gem on the Mirana. That means they should get a lot of good map control from this. I think maybe what they're thinking about the Centaur actually is the way to kill towers. The problem being that like he maxed out his stun second just because he had Blink Dagger fast, which makes sense. But then they didn't have somebody just stand and tank the tower, because the return is still amazing at blowing towers up. So I feel like maybe that was what he was thinking there, perhaps.
Bottom lane, they've scouted out S4 with an Invis Jerex Venge.
There's a lot of heroes nearby, though. Storm and Sim.
And this has gone poorly before. They do get the stun before he gets the heal off. The second follow-up stun is there. Storm goes bowling in, though, with the Haunt, though. I feel like we've seen this one before. Storm immediately hunting down Jerex. Do they have detection? Doesn't look like it. They do for the Venge, but they do bring down Centaur. He got scouted out. They don't find Jerex in the side. Juke back to the shop, and This one not as catastrophic as last time, but it's the same thing. Maybe ignore the Enchantress.
They were way off on being able to kill that guy. That was a really poor choice to jump. They didn't have any more.
They scout him out, though. They get the Frostbite on. He didn't BKB for this one, but he does finally get it off a bit too late, though. Can he actually survive through the Impetus damage with a false promise? He's going to stay alive a bit longer, but I don't think he's surviving those Impetuses. He wants to kill S4. Does he have enough life to with the Jingu? No, sirree. He's dead. 4 dead on OG's side. Spectre did go down in the process. He died inside at Wukong's command, but that is not worth it for OG.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically everything Topson did. Another stun on Feb here, or Seb,
that's the gem.
And the gem pickup. Crit just always in the right place. And now we're seeing the late game problems with Monkey King. Topson's doing a great job, but by the time he got his ultimate off, he was already at half HP. That forces out the fast Oracle ulti, and he got some lifesteal out, but he's still hitting a guy that has high armor, is reflecting with dispersion, maybe even had Blade Mail active, and then S4 just sits in the back and pings for a ton of pure damage, and there's not a good solution, actually. It's actually kind of a hard counter for Monkey King, because he's magic immune, he has stupid high armor, but he's still taking pure damage.
And he's also outside of the ring. He's not even getting hit by the little fake Monkey Kings, so...
So it's a really hard lane for Sumail. He went like 0-5 and 0, 0-4 and 0. Now he's 6-6 and 6. So he's super caught up since that point. And it's hard for OG to transition from this.
Well, how do they transition from this? Is it just, you know, getting... Is there an item or some kind of situation where they're going to be looking a whole lot better? They've got like an Axe queued up on Centaur. Mirana's finally going back for some damage jams after the BKB with a Maelstrom.
I mean, Axe is definitely a good place to go. I mean, he'll grab the 75 damage talent, but I just don't...
Roshan, that's what they want.
I don't see a way that Centaur really transitions as a hero damage-wise, unless they just like had advantage and they just kind of ended mid-racks, kind of a thing. Maybe
so they know that gem's being taken away, and Storm's just going to go balling in, forces out a BKB immediately, then he balls out.
He was ready to do
Heads
that.
up play, and once again, it's this Storm with the mana loss aura coming out from the CM. So his spells cost such little mana. He's also regenerating mana constantly. Arteezy's got dust of his own. He says, I'll carry the detection. He goes haunting in, finds the Oracle immediately. He's looking for more. Topson already low. Once again, he's just going to die to these Impetuses. The false promise is just going to delay the inevitable. S4 knows he's dead. He finds a new target. It's Anna's Centaur, and that's a 3rd hero kill. It's just a 6,000 gold lead, but it feels all over. There's just nothing OG can do in these team fights. Seb's forced to just keep leaping away. And it's fight after fight, the same story. All EG, all mid to late game long.
I don't know what the item solution is that's going to make OG win these fights. Like, I'm thinking Blade Mail maybe on Monkey King, but that doesn't make sense because he's popping heal on Enchant. It's just like they got past this point, they tried to hit this timing, and they were super stomping, but when they went high ground in that one mid push, they needed to get a Rax there is what it feels like. And it needed to maybe be like a Centaur with a Buckler maybe just tanking tower hits or something. I don't know if Vanguard's the right, maybe Vanguard's the wrong item build. Maybe he needed like a hood there or something, but I'm not sure.
I think it's, like you say, there's no obvious item that comes to mind. It's not really an item thing. It was, they needed to snowball this game. They were doing that, but at some point it stopped. You know, the Monkey King's very first death when he had the godlike streak at like 15 minutes, gave away a lot of gold to Sumail. And then it was a couple of team fights in a row where they just didn't get that good Wukong command off. They will find crit here. That's a nice kill. He's actually got a gem here, so well worth using those BKBs, and he walked into a sentry ward, unfortunately.
So it's about time they were able to punish him, because he's been all over the enemy base setting things up. I feel like, I kind of feel like if Centaur goes like Hood Buckler with a Stout Shield, it would have been better. Because then you just, like, Centaur has a lot of problems, right? You need HP regen, you need survivability against physical, so Vanguard is usually common, but against towers, Vanguard sucks. It's better to have like a Buckler, and there's also a lot of magic damage. Maybe that would have made a difference. Go like Blink, Buckler, Hood, perhaps. I'm not sure. But they've definitely lost their window a bit, and they need to take really good team fights, and they need to gank well. But Topson's built team fight this whole time. Scotty BKB, great item build if he can keep people in a circle, but he's really far away from level 25.
Yeah. I do like this Satanic he's got queued up. Maybe even an item he should have gotten earlier, because that synergy with the False Promise, he could actually maybe have survived when he's right-clicking Arteezy and getting plonked by Impetuses if he has that extra bit of crazy lifesteal.
It feels like they've been able to deal with him pretty well, though, especially because his BKB is down to 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So as soon as that runs up, Frostbite him, do a Impale, just slow him a little bit with Storm Spirit. Like, they can just deal with him.
Oh, yeah. It's not going to solve all their problems by any means. It's a small lifestyle improvement as crit we'll see once again. Run in, scout some things out. Sumail going in. He's got the follow-up with a double damage rune. He wants to find Thompson first, and Thompson did not BKB for this one. He's just going to die without using it. Swap out onto Seb. He's trying to just save the gem here. Seb's just trying to run. Says, take my teammates, but not me. My life for my kingdom, says Big Daddy No Tail.
One save there. They pop BKBs, but yeah, the instant catch on Monkey King was huge. So he might have gotten nullified, because I know Spectre has picked that up this game, but great jump from Sumail. Pops the Shivas for vision, does a ball lightning. He could see everything. Haunt as well. They jumped on it. Very possibly was the nullifier, because I think that's why they picked this up. They know that if Monkey King doesn't get his BKB off, he's dead. Yep. Nullifier and Orchid, that guy's dead.
Yeah, there's two heroes with BKBs, and one of them is a much bigger threat. It's the Monkey King, not the Mirana, that this Nullify can be very effective against.
It's just so important that, like, the hard thing about Monkey King again is it's all about execution. Can you get your BKB, or can you get your ulti off? And ideally you'll do your BKB afterwards, and ideally you do your stun afterwards. But if it doesn't go in that order, your hero just is a lot harder to execute if you're against super mobile heroes like this. And that way Storm has been really effective. They're going to start on him at least.
Yeah, they're actually just going to blow up Sumail. That's his first life, but still being able to take away that first life in such a cheap way, pretty damn nice. They can't magic missile the projectile. Disjoinable by the ball lightning, as we've seen already, and Storm's going to just go falling right back in, take out Jerks to sound things off here. In the middle of this is Arteezy Spectre. He's got a cheese, though. He's just going to man up and take down the Monkey King with the Nullifier. No BKB for you. 2 fights in a row. He just couldn't get it off, and they're on the high ground. No buyback except for Mirana. They're going to GG out. EG have turned around a bad start here in game number 2 and taken down OG, showing great resilience.
OG had a fantastic laning stage across the board. I mean, Thompson super dumpstered mid, but Sumail just is one of those games where you just got to realize, like, in the late game, I'm going to be able to come back from this, and we're going to pick you off, and we're going to stomp you in the late game. We've got Spectre, we've got Storm, we have CM, we've got Nyx. There's so many options. Like, but the players that got them back in the game was certainly Crit. Crit was like the guy that from the beginning to the end was like doing an amazing job, making stuff happen. And he was the only guy that even got found half the time. He was making it hard to kill himself, at least delaying OG's, the time that it took for him to even get killed by opponents. So EG just played great.
And it never really looked like they were panicked. Like, as far as behind as they were from the lane stage, as many kills as Thompson was getting, it wasn't like they were making desperate plays or doing anything really silly or crazy to try to get back in the game. It was just like, let's just play Dota. I don't actually feel like EG were under the impression themselves that they were losing the game. Like, I'm sure they knew they had a goal disadvantage and they were behind, but their lineup is kind of almost meant to be behind. You've got a Storm, Spectre, Enchantress. Like, you don't have a playmaking offlaner. You've got farming mid and farming safe laner. Like, they probably knew they were going to lose that early game.
Yeah, and they certainly did. It looked quite bad for a while, but maybe a little too hard for the heroes to pressure. Maybe Thompson should have gone something like a Shadow Blade instead, perhaps, to pressure better, but even still, EG had really good ward vision, so I feel like maybe that would have led to some deaths.
He had 9 kills at, I think it was like 10 or 11 minutes, and then the issue was EG got some good defensive wards up, and a lot of his rotations around the map started getting scouted, and that led to also his eventual death around 14, 15 minutes where he fed away his godlike streak, and it really came down to having vision that could spot him bouncing around between trees and find those kills.
Yeah, support gank on Sumail was really sick too. Great rotations here from Jerix and No Tail to look for him. Made the game even harder for them to end up taking a win on. But yeah, just great snowballing, but not as much late game longevity out of OG.
Yeah, that's good of time Monkey had. We'll keep on seeing it. He just found kill after kill wherever he went in the first stage of the game. He was having a great time. That's the monster kill. This is the godlike streak. 10 minutes, 47 seconds. But it quickly turned the other way.
I think Seb played pretty well too. I mean, he rushed BKB. I don't think that was wrong against an Orchid Storm. But maybe that's the trap, right? If you have a Storm, you feel like everybody feels like they need BKBs, but then S4 is just like completely amazing.
I think you need a second damage dealer, because we saw later on Monkey King's getting kited. He kites himself in a way because he has to stay inside of his ring. He's getting hit by the impetuses. You need Mirana to offer a bit more damage output, I would argue.
Yeah, that's definitely possible. Maybe one of the issues with the Centaur runner.
Yeah, and also just the fact that, you know, Seb and Anna kind of doing a role swap. It feels like Seb is still trying to play this more, you know, selfless style. But hey, you're Mirana. If your Monkey King's getting kited, you actually have to be dealing damage. Like the MKBs, the Maelstroms, those kind of items to me need to come out in a game like this for Mirana to have a bigger impact.
Yeah, this is the crucial fight here that was pretty impactful. If he BKBs a little bit earlier there, he kills S4 under his ulti for sure, and then maybe they're able to stick around. Venge was dead. They still got the Storm kill here, I believe.
Yeah, he TPs in and gets instantly stunned with the help of the Moonlight Shadow, but they pay dearly for it with all these kills that EG then clean up. Felt like they would maybe, you know, in these mid to late game fights, it's like, oh, they killed a Spectre, but they lost 3. Oh, they killed a Storm, oh, but they lost, you know, 4 heroes or something here. It cost them too much, and it was always an overcommitment to kill one core hero because they had to use all their BKBs, and then it was like, okay, now let's run. Oh, wait, we can't.
So there's so many small things that maybe could have made the difference, genuinely. Like if
this was the worst of the fights, though. This was the beginning of the end. As much as the game had gone back to even, this fight here, they overdive on the Enchantress. They throw a lot of their stuns. They use all their control. And Arteezy's just in the middle with a Blade Mail. They're all hitting him. He's got Blade Mail. He's got Dispersion. All this damage coming out. And Sumail and S4 just clean up.
Now, maybe Anna shouldn't have just gone in there. Maybe they all just retreat, you know, and it ends up only being 2 heroes and it ends up being a bit of a trade. But I think there's a lot of times, at least watching the game, where it just felt like you just completely underestimate how much damage S4 is going to do in the team fight, and he just always outputted a stupid amount.
Yep. He was one of the lead damage dealers behind Arteezy, who, with the help of Dispersion and Blade Mail, you know, deals damage without actually having to cast things. But all in all, EG continue to be a dominant force in this group stage. I think after day 1, people looked at them like, hey, these guys are good. They lost 1 game to IG, but they do look like one of the strongest teams in that group.
Yeah, absolutely. Their ability to play from that kind of a laning stage deficit was certainly really good.
Yep.
And maybe another thing to say is Centaur, maybe not the hero for OG here. The laning stage-wise, it was good. Hypothetically, if they didn't lose that mid-fight and get Anna in a position where he has tankiness, can just stand by the tower and tank it, and that's how the tower dies, great. But they never quite solidified there. They didn't quite get the medallion on the Venge in time, and then he didn't have much armor himself, and then even then EG was looking for and got a lot of really good team fights. So it's like they needed to basically win by, like, or at least get a big Rax advantage at like 25 minutes, and EG slowed it down enough.
I'd even, like, you know, you mentioned Suns fan, big Centaur lover, but also hater with the way the hero's at. He's a pretty one-dimensional hero. He's a blink stun. And it's not an instant stun. It's not always a reliable one. It's AoE, but it's not as good of an AoE stun as many others. Like, you think Pengo ulti, like, that's a way better stun and better teamfight spell than what Centaur stun is. So I just don't think the hero does enough to be really picked in general. I'm surprised we're seeing it get played. Obviously, it's a comfort thing for OG. They've run it before, but I'm not sold on this hero as being viable.
Even Oracle, I think Oracle did well this game, but it was another kind of disjoint. It was like a hero that OG really values, and they put it in their lineup pretty early, but it felt a little bit weird at various points.
Yep.
Maybe that was a bit off too.
Well, there we go. EG continue their dominance. They get a 2-0 win over OG. Kevin and myself, we're done on stream number 2. We'll be taking a break, popping up in round 5 of games today, but we got some new casters popping their heads in. I think Lumi and Winter will be taking over here. So stay tuned, guys. More Dota 2 action coming your way.